I remember there was a time when we was kings and queens, prophets and rulers, judging the earth. But now we stuck at the bottom of the totem pole. Where did we go wrong as a people? I think our people need to understand this with a wake-up call and give them understanding on what's going on. So bring it.
Early morning, rise up, open your eyes up, looking in the mirror, it gets no clearer. Cause we don't understand our own selves, drowning in sorrow with empty Hennessy bottles upon the shelf. Cause everybody wanna be a king, selling out their soul for this mean green cream thing. Paper chasing but not facing the facts that as a nation we all done got lax and letting the devil control us. And thinking like them damn Africans that sold us. We in captivity because they hold us. Working hard with heavy burdens on our shoulders. Man, I thought we was some soldiers, but every second that I look, we getting creamed like foes.
To another edition of ISBHBK class. We're located on 8524 South Braeswood, Houston, Texas. Zip code 77071. Also, we have a school in San Antonio, so if you have anybody that you know that's in the San Antonio area that'll like class, the address for that school is 4219 Centergate Street, San Antonio, Texas, zip code 78217. And also, if you know anybody that's in the Albuquerque, New Mexico area, and they would like to fellowship with the body, the address is 501 Copper Ave, Northwest Albuquerque, New Mexico. The zip code is 87102. And also we have a school in Trinidad and Tobago, but in Trinidad, now that we just built. The address for that school is 17 Jacamar Street. 17 Jacamar Street. And it's in Fanny Village, Point Fortin, Trinidad. So for the announcements this week, we have the High Holy Day of Hanukkah coming up. Hanukkah will be from December 11th through December 18th. We'll be feasting for those days from the 11th through the 18th. Unfortunately, we will not have class. We'll be feasting during those nights. A lot of us work during the week. So for us to be able to have that feast, we feast during the nighttime where everybody's off from work and is able to participate during the feast. And also we have the Penny Wars contest where the brothers are currently winning, as always. And the class schedule for us here in Houston at 8524 Braeswood is Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. and from Fridays from 6 to 9 p.m. And Shabbat Sabbath class is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And also, the school in Trinidad will be having class. It's not broadcast yet, but we'll be broadcasting from Trinidad live. I'm expecting sometime this week we'll be broadcasting in those days. The class schedule in Trinidad is from Tuesdays. On Tuesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. On Thursdays from 7 to 10 p.m. as well. And on Fridays, the same time, from 6 to 9 p.m. And Shabbat Sabbath Saturday class will be from 10 to 2 p.m. as well. And also, here in Houston, after we have our Sabbath class, we like to go out and street speak. So it's always good to come through the class to Sabbath class. You know, you can partake in the street speaking, see how we go out and put the work in. So. But also, we also have classes in Austin, Texas, as well. But that school is to be announced. But if you're in the Austin, Texas area, or you know anyone that's in the Austin, Texas area that would like to fellowship, that would like to have class, Kazak's number's on the screen. Contact Kazak. Ask him; he'll get you through to somebody in San Antonio where that person can fellowship, or you can fellowship. And also, with all those addresses that I've mentioned, we are accepting donations, any form of donations, shoes, clothes, pens, books, Bibles, Apocryphas, Josephus, annotated Bible with the Apocryphas, dictionaries, papers, highlighters, all of that's needed, especially in Trinidad. Especially in Trinidad, the books are needed. So we are accepting donations for books, but like I said, it's all 4 or 5 of the school locations that we have. But also, if you want to donate a car, I mean, TVs, laptops, computers, all donations are accepted. And also, you know, as you know, you're on YouTube. We have live classes on YouTube. Every time we broadcast, we'll have a live class on YouTube. And with Trinidad being up and running now on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that means 6 out of the 7 days of the week. Actually, 7 days a week, ISBHPK will have a class on YouTube. The 6 days, Monday through Saturday, will be straight class for the adults. Kids are welcome to watch as well. But on Sundays, we have kids class. So Sundays will be for the kids. It's from 11 to 12. I mean, you can bring the kids to come through for kids class. I mean, that'll be the best way to go, especially if you're in the Houston area. I mean, if you're in the Houston area, not just the kids class, all the classes. If you're in the Houston area, it's good to partake. It's good to fellowship. The scripture says, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. So you want to gather yourself together in fellowship with the school, especially during the class days. But if you can't make it, that's why we have the YouTube at ISBHBK. We also have our cable shows. The cable show will be on every Saturday from 8:30 p.m. and it's on Camcast, local channel 17. Or you can stream it live on hmstv.org. And also we have plenty of kids class. We have plenty of kids class also on our channel, so you know it's good. It's good to get your kids involved with the Bible, involved with the scriptures, because they're not learning anything in school. They're not learning nothing that you can't teach them in school. So it's good to have your kids watch those classes. You can reprogram them from what they go through on a day-to-day basis in school. And also to my left, we have Priest Kazakia. And if you'd like to contact Priest Kazakia, his number is 281-707-2737. We do ask that you text during class. Text him during class, but after class, free to call you, right? Yeah. Yeah, after class, free to give him a call. Hey, send him a text, shoot him a question, call him, rap with him. Or you can email us. You can email us your questions or your concerns on isbhbk@gmail.com. And also, if you like a garment made, if you like a fringe shirt, a fringe pad, a fringe pants, or a whole garment made, a tunic, we have a Facebook. We have our Facebook channel. It's called Israel Wear. So you can go on our Facebook channel on Israel Wear. And there we have all our garments, man. You can go on there, you can check it out, see what we have. I mean, our garments are awesome. The sisters put a lot of time and spirit and effort into making these garments. So you go on there, man, they're beautiful. Order you a garment. And also, we're collecting Passover garment money monthly. So we collect the money for the Passover garments. We do it every month. That way when the Passover comes up, it's not a heavy burden on the sisters to try to make the brothers' garments in school, the brothers that are going to be coming from Trinidad, their garments, the brothers that's going to be coming from all over the United States, all over the world to attend the Passover. They're not heavily burdened to make the garments in that short amount of time. So we collect the money every month. That way also we can get the leather and the things that we need in one bulk order. That way, instead of buying it separately, that way we can knock it out. And the sisters work on unity garments all year round. So a lot of times you see all of us, we have the same shirts, the same pants. Those are the unity garments. The sisters work on those all year round. So ask about the details, contact us, ask us about a unity garment. Yeah, like I said, all donations are accepted. All contributions are accepted and definitely needed. The Wells Fargo account will be on the screen. And if you would like to send us some money through Google Wallet, it's isbhbk@gmail.com. And all your donations always go back to the school. It goes back to your people. It goes into the community to help the community out, to raise your people up. So it's not being spent. No donation is ever being spent on us. So yeah, I guess that's it for the announcements. If you have any questions online, please send them in.
Yeah. So does anybody have any questions in here? You start out, and then we'll wait to see who has some online, and then if not, we'll go into class. But we do start out with questions if y'all have any.
Sunday you said it's 11 to 12 is the kids class?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, we'll wait a few seconds on that. See who has any questions online. Did you have, what was your name, brother?
Gerard.
Gerard? Did you have any questions? Anything?
Yeah, I guess so.
What's that?
Concerning the Sabbath day,
Mm-hmm.
it being the day that the Most High separated, us being set apart.
Okay.
Now, the Sabbath day was instituted in the creation.
Mm-hmm.
So now we in the year 2017, so we thousands and thousands of millennia away from when it was actually instituted. Now, if we was to go back in time, I would question, are we doing the same thing our fathers in the faith was doing? Are we keeping that day holy? You know, he said, keep this day holy.
Right.
And I haven't, with me just not coming into the truth, I haven't really, with me just not coming into the truth, I, without question, believe in all the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High instituted. But yet there are still some things that we are designed to be different than other people, and one of them is the Sabbath day. Well, question one, what does it mean to keep this day holy? And question number two, regarding captivity that we're in, is that a reason not to look exactly like Israel looked in the scriptures?
All right. So go to Judges real quick.
So Judges chapter 5, verse 11.
And we get this question a lot. So we definitely touch on this topic a lot. But let's take and look at some scriptures that are going to answer that for you. So go to Judges. What is it?
Judges. Judges chapter 5, verse 11.
Judges 5 and 11. So we can understand what we're doing here, where we're at, and how us being in captivity, the Bible speaks about any law. A lot of people like honing in on the Sabbath. Not you, I'm saying you. I'm saying we get this question so much. There's a lot of people that they focus in on the Sabbath day when there's a lot more laws.
Oh, absolutely.
But with our people, the Sabbath day makes them feel like if they're doing that right, they're doing all the other things right. And they that's like, because there's a lot of laws. But think about it, why aren't we talking about other laws? Why aren't we talking about other things besides the Sabbath?
I believe that that's the biggest war, well, the biggest debate between Christianity and us.
The Sabbath?
Sabbath and pork. Well, those are the two things that really got my attention.
Oh, it probably got your attention because
Exactly.
you know, I've been doing this for finna come up on 30 years now, and the Sabbath is not our problem. The Sabbath is the least of our problems. You know, homosexuality is one of the biggest things that's consuming our people, turning into be faggots and lesbians. So, well, I mean, we could talk about that all day. I mean, we can go through the law and go at any and everything that we supposed to be following in the spirit of the Most High in Christ. So,
I totally agree.
So our focus is, of course, coming back to the law, statutes, commandments. That's why we're called, right? Coming back to the law, coming back to righteousness. But in doing that, what are we doing? Read that.
Judges chapter 5, verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers.
Right. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers. Go ahead.
In the places of drawing water.
Well, that's symbolic because the place where we're drawing water now is right now mainly in America. The word is came out of America, and it's gradually reaching the other parts of the world. Right? Go ahead.
There shall they rehearse the righteous acts.
Right. So, there shall they do what?
Rehearse the righteous acts.
We were going to rehearse. Now, why does it say rehearse?
Because we can't properly do them. We're not in the land.
I mean, can you? When you got a wife?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When she's on her menstrual cycle, do you send her to another house?
Oh no. No, I don't have.
But you see, that's my point. Now the same thing about the Sabbath. You see, we can go. If you come on the Sabbath day, going over those laws, man, we start to condemn ourselves in all of them. We're like, damn. You're like, you realize that.
Start the morning.
You realize that to the peak of what you need to be doing is not there.
Yeah.
In the law in its entirety, not just the ones we pick and choose to make us feel righteous.
Exactly.
So when people talk to me about the Sabbath day, you know, first of all, let me say this. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I've been celebrating the Sabbath day since I got and carried out the law, which was from my youth, about 15 years old. So you're talking to a brother that keeps the Sabbath.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't want you to get it misconstrued. We teach the law. We teach that brother's supposed to be obedient to the law.
Exactly.
But we also teach that Christ gave us understanding in the law.
Gotcha.
So your question is going to be answered not just from an Old Testament mentality. When you come in contact with us, we're not just going to hit you with one side. We're going to hit you with both sides, or you're not going to really proper understand it.
Gotcha.
You're not going to get it. And religion has kept us blind in a lot of ways because they choose a part to focus in on.
Exactly.
And that's where we start to veer from the entirety of the Bible. So as we go through the Bible, we have, to answer your question, yes, we have a mentality of the old, but yes, we also have a mentality of the new.
Okay.
So are we supposed to veer from the old? No. What we're supposed to do is understand how Christ came and clarified everything.
Exactly.
All right, now knowing that and how we're all trying to keep the law. We're all trying to keep, not just one part of the law, not just the Sabbath.
Yeah.
We're not,
Exactly.
we're trying to keep everything.
Well, let me clarify the
Right.
statement. The debates, the Christianity is mostly, I mean, Christians don't cheat on their wives, or at least most Christians don't cheat on that. They won't argue about that. What they do argue about is those two things. That's what I meant by the problem with, I should have said Christianity.
Yeah.
They'll recognize that all the other laws are good. Well, the 10, But when it comes to the actual Sabbath and pork, they like, oh no, brother, we can eat what we want to eat, and Christ is my Sabbath rest.
But that's what I'm saying. That I understand that you're new, but for us, when we deal with Christians, brother, they deny the whole law.
Yeah.
So I'm coming from a mind of like, nah, these cats deny everything about the law. So, you know, the reason why it's prominent online now is because you got a lot of Hebrews that feel like the Sabbath day defines the law. And it doesn't. Not just the Sabbath day alone, right? You know, and people feel like if I'm doing the Sabbath right, I'm holy. Your socks are holy, but the Sabbath doesn't define you. It doesn't define me, and I keep the Sabbath. I'm not out eating in no club. I'm not out drinking. I'm not partying. I'm keeping the Sabbath day, but it doesn't define my righteousness. You understand? So, and I say that in clarity because a lot of brothers are online thinking, oh, I can be a nigga, I can be adulterous, I can hate brothers, I can be unbalanced and screaming at people, I can be cursing people out, but I keep the Sabbath. So I'm right, and you think you can get in an argument, not you per se, but you got brothers think, now I can argue with you about the Sabbath because you want to talk about the Sabbath? Like, we can talk about many things. That's why I said, when you deal with the law, I like to throw about the period. Your rib is on her period. You don't supposed to be around her. But I don't got nobody arguing or telling us or asking us about those things. You know why? Because it's not important to them. It's not important to them. They go about to establish their own righteousness. So it should be its entirety. As the Sabbath, it should be all the law should be that most important. You see that? Yeah. And then we're going to understand what the Bible is talking about. But once we go about to establish our own righteousness, you making, not you, but this argument, you know, this YouTube argument is like, you keeping the Sabbath. Like, yeah, we keeping the Sabbath, but bro, what does that gotta, yeah, like, bro, I be keeping the Sabbath. What, you just got on. Well, let's talk about you being a nigga. Pull up your pants. Stop beating your rib. Stop being lustful, right? Stop being prideful. Stop being cocky, right? It's a lot of spiritual things that we need to be working on too. But brothers are taking one thing and defining themselves by the Sabbath. So yeah, we're supposed to be keeping the whole law.
Absolutely, I agree.
Right? So, and as when you say in captivity, how does that change things, or how does it mold our situation? Well, the Bible tells you. Read it again.
Rehearse the righteous acts.
There you go. So we're rehearsing. Why did it not say, listen, like many other times, you can post scriptures and say, this is the commandments and the law of life. All they that keep it come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Baruch 4:1. Right? Such a, why? Why is he saying rehearse them here? Because we are in captivity. We are in a place where not only one law can't be kept to its potential, but all the laws cannot be kept to their potential. Right? So now, what was the argument with Christ all the time? What was the always an inconvenient argument with Christ? One thing that always stands out.
The traditions of man.
No, the Sabbath. One of the main arguments
was the Sabbath.
Was the Sabbath. Why?
I want to say because he wasn't keeping it according to the way the Pharisees and scribes wanted him to keep it.
There you go. Well, why not though?
Because to answer that, I'll say that he did away with the, well, he was doing away, striving to do away with the man-made traditions.
Right.
The traditions. The oral law.
And that's right, and I'll add to that, man-made understanding, because their understanding was off according to the law. So you had this problem that we think we understood the law, but yet and still we didn't. So one thing the Pharisees kept poking at and picking at Christ on is the law. It's every time. So I'll give you the example. And like I said, it's the same example I gave last week and the week before, because the topic of the Sabbath is how, and I'm not saying it's you, but there's brothers online, they think that defines their righteousness, and it doesn't. So we got another camp in San Antonio. The brother seen them out there street speaking. He was in the school. He went down and grabbed them some water and took them the water. It was like, hold on, Matt. Did you buy this water on the Sabbath? And they wouldn't take the water because
He bought it on Sabbath.
he didn't tell them that. He said, huh? He said, I'm bringing y'all water. Would y'all like some water? He said, well, if y'all bought it on the Sabbath, we don't want it. So my thing is this. What did that man in that camp have to do to get out there to teach?
You have to work
Break the dang law, brother.
Yeah,
He had to break the law.
just to get out there and preach.
He had to break the law to get out there and preach. So what I'm trying to show you is that, yeah, we keep the law, but we keep it with the understanding that what Christ gave us. We keep it with the understanding that he gave us. We're not keeping it according to the Pharisees. So yeah, I keep the Sabbath. I'm not partying, I'm not having sex, I'm not out there wilding out. But is it right for me to go street speak and tell my people that are transgressions according to Christ? Because according to the law, technically, I wasn't supposed to do no servile work on the Sabbath, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to do no servile work, man. That one guy, he was what was it, picking up sticks or something?
Yeah, it was killed for that.
He was killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the technical law was that you're not supposed to do no servile work, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, me taking my camp stuff, sweating, and going to do this work on the Sabbath is servile work, technically. You see that? So we have to have understanding in the law. Real quick, go here.
It's Romans chapter 10 and verse 3.
Go to Romans 10 and 3. And, you know, we love talking about the law, but I want to reiterate that when we teach this word, our whole focus is for our people to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. But what we don't want brothers and sisters to do is to think that because they try to keep one law, that they're the sole guardians of the Sabbath.
Exactly.
What? Did you say something?
No, I'm saying exactly.
Yeah. They're not the sole guardians of the Sabbath because they sit at home and don't do nothing. I'd rather be doing something for the Most High on the Sabbath. So we got to get an understanding of what all of that is about. Why did the Pharisees make it a point to mess with Christ about the Sabbath? Right? So read that. Where you at?
Romans chapter 10 and verse 3.
Uh-huh.
For they, being ignorant of God's righteousness,
Go ahead.
and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted unto themselves unto the righteousness of God.
Right, and that is the thing, that Israelites, black people, Hispanic people, we like to establish our own righteousness. We like to make ourselves feel, because we're godly people, it says, well, we have a zeal, but not according to knowledge. And then that's where we fall off at. Yeah, everybody wants to come back, and a brother comes in here, we tell him what? Bro, you're not supposed to be out on the Sabbath day partying. You're not supposed to be out there having sex. You're not supposed to be doing this on the Sabbath, doing that on the Sabbath, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we tell him that. Right?
Yeah.
And our brother says, hey, you know what I mean? If I have to work on the Sabbath, yeah, we can tell them, oh, you know what, I got a brother in Florida, he can give you a piece of paper where you can get off from work. He can come back to me and say, well, I might lose my job if I do that. And I can say, you know what? Well, is it worth it? Right? And I can do that to that one brother.
Yeah.
But how many brothers am I going to do that to? Right? And it's according to the law, is that necessary? Being spiritual in the law, is that necessary?
Well, hold on. Let me. Cause see, that's where the rub comes in at.
Right. Well, we gotta get some clarity. Let's go through the scriptures. Go to Mark 2. Go to Mark 2 and verse 27.
Mark chapter 2, verse 27.
Now, who was Christ?
The Son of the Most High.
He was the Son of the Most High, right?
Yes, sir.
Where was he at before he came down here on earth?
With the Father.
He was with the Father. All right. Mark 2:27. Read that.
Mark chapter 2, verse 27.
Uh-huh.
And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man,
Right.
and not man for the Sabbath.
And not what?
Man for the Sabbath.
Right. So what was the point of him saying that? And if I said that to you, what are you gonna tell me? Yeah, I mean, I'm speaking in general. I'm not.
No, I got you.
I'm speaking in general.
I got you.
If we're talking with somebody and we say that line right here, we quote that scripture, right?
The Sabbath was made for man.
Not man for the Sabbath. What understanding was Christ trying to give these people, the Pharisees?
It appears he was saying that the Sabbath is a luxury for man.
Mm-hmm.
That was the purpose of the Sabbath day.
Right.
And but the Sabbath day was made in creation.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it was actually instituted. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it was made for us.
It was made for us.
For us.
Not for us to be a slave to the day,
No, absolutely.
but
I totally agree.
to be a service to us.
But in Acts chapter 15, you hear the apostles having a discussion about this.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily about the Sabbath, but they're discussing some of the laws.
Let's stick to the Sabbath. Because when you go to Acts, you're speaking more widely. And we can get widely, but let's just focus in on your question first.
Well, and I got you. I'm trying to stick to the Sabbath as much as possible.
Let's go to Matthew 12 verse 5 real quick.
Okay.
Come on. Matthew chapter 12, verse 5.
No, go to Luke 6 and 9. I want to get the ones that, and we're gonna go there. We're gonna go to Matthew. You can hold that, but go to Luke 6 and 9 first.
Luke chapter 6, verse 9.
Go to Luke 6 verse 9. And if y'all watched the Sabbath class before, we touched on this. We always touch on these scriptures. So read that. Luke what?
Luke chapter 6, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Then said Yahushua unto them,
Go ahead.
I will ask you one thing. Is it lawful on the Sabbath day to do good or to do evil?
Right. So, why did he say that?
Another Pharisee episode.
It's a common theme, but why all the time are they constantly bringing about the Sabbath?
Because, as you stated, they were the slaves to the Sabbath.
They were the slaves to the Sabbath, but it's more than that, brother. They didn't understand the Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
These men didn't even know how to keep the Sabbath, but they swore that they can come up against Christ and speak to him about the Sabbath day.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. You been here before?
No, this is my. No, yes, I'll take that back. I've been
Yeah.
here earlier today.
Right. No, I just
This is
deja vu. My brain. Go ahead. Read out.
Come.
Jump up to verse. Verse 5.
Come on. And he said unto them, that the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath.
You know what? We're going to do this. Jump up to verse 1.
Come.
That way we can get everything in context and we can understand. Go ahead.
And it came to pass on the second Sabbath after the first that he went through the cornfields.
Go ahead.
And his disciples plucked the ears of the corn and did eat. rubbing them in their hands. And certain of the Pharisees say unto them.
Stop. Christ knew the law. He said he at 12 years old, he was talking to doctors and lawyers, right?
Absolutely.
Why did he do that on the Sabbath day when he knew it was wrong?
Now, like you said, have I been here before? This was what I talked about when I came before. I came earlier today, and me and a few other brothers, we talked about this particular verse. Now, without question, I believe that the Messiah was perfect. No sin, no flaws. So, if I was to consider this a breaking of the Sabbath, then wouldn't you consider that to be a sin that he committed?
The reason I'm posing the question, because I know what it's talking about.
No,
I'm posing the question because I'm trying to get you to understand what we're dealing with.
No,
you know, for you to look a little deeper in on the Sabbath day, and for us to understand that keeping the Sabbath, we got to keep it according to the understanding that Christ gave us. Because if we keep it according to the Pharisees, we're not keeping the Sabbath day.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the whole point, to show that yes, to answer your questions from the beginning, when you stated about captivity and about us, do we keep it as opposed to like the ancients back then? No, we don't. You know why? Because we keep it like Christ said.
Now, do you think that Christ contradicted the way the ancients kept that?
No, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here for you, baby. No, I don't.
Okay.
But I'm trying to show you that I'm asking you to spark your brain. I know why. I'm trying to get your brain to be sparked for you to understand that if he's the Son of God and he knew that it was wrong to do this according to the technical law, why didn't on Friday before the sun went down did he say, why didn't he? I'm asking you, that's my point.
And no, you're bringing up a great passage of scripture, and I am really thinking about it. And don't get it twisted. I'm literally here just to get a better understanding. I'm not,
I know. But they told me you coming.
Yeah.
My brother told me he met you, all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know where you come from. I know you're not. Trust me. Okay. I know you're asking.
So, well, my understanding of this particular passage is that he did spark the Pharisees by, like you said, plucking the corn. And of course, that threw them all in alert mode. And,
right. Well, of course. We know they tripping.
Exactly.
Matthew 23, you serpents, you vipers, you demons, he went off on them.
Exactly.
Right. But why didn't Christ just keep the Sabbath day, though? That's great. We know about the Pharisees, they off, but why did he do that work on the Sabbath when the Friday he could have said, all right, brothers,
let's go get some corn.
Go get some corn before the sun go down, and we're going to do this. Why did he have them do it on the Sabbath?
Teaching moment. That's all I can say. I can't really.
You know why he did it? Because they didn't know how to keep the Sabbath the correct way. Just like many other laws, they didn't know how to keep the correct way.
So what would you say now? This, of course, the Messiah is picking corn. And I get that. I get someone helping. I get someone bringing water. But what if I got to work?
What is more important? You grabbing damn cords on the Sabbath or feeding your family? Like you could. You know why he did the most pettiest thing? Because it was that petty. What was it for them to say, hey, Akim, y'all grab corn and prepare it for the... Why he intentionally went... This is the Son of God. You said he was with God on the throne, right?
Absolutely.
And I know that. You know that. And this is the question I asked myself. But being that I understand Paul's writings, I understand Christ's writing, I understand why he did it. But what I'm trying to show you is that there's no way, according to his majesty, he just fumbled and did that on the Sabbath just to do it. He did it on purpose. So you know what that means? According to the Bible, he broke what they thought was the law, the technical law, on purpose.
Exactly.
To show them something. Now when we read out, he's going to tell us what he's trying to show them so we can get it in context. That's why starting at 1 is better.
Exactly.
Starting at the first verse, we're going to understand what he's trying to show them in context. So go ahead and read on.
Why do ye that which is not lawful to do on the Sabbath day?
And they checked him. That's real. You're doing something that wasn't lawful on the Sabbath.
But according to us.
According to the law.
So, okay,
The
that was the question I was...
According to the technical law, the Pharisees were correct. You weren't supposed to do no servile work. That you were supposed to, you know, if we read down, he's not only going to use one example, he's going to use another example. We're going to get many examples. Because this is just one thing, the corn. But there's other things he did on the Sabbath day. Because if you wanted to say, well, yeah, well, of course you're going to eat, you know what I mean? But no, he could have did it like brothers do. They cook the day before, and then they prepare their food, and then on the Sabbath day, they eat their food.
Well, let me ask you, because now it appears, and I know that's not what you're saying, but again, I'm trying to get a better understanding. Now it appears that if you're saying that he transgressed commandment number 4. You know, I mean, I know you're not saying that.
No, I'm not.
That's why I said the word, it appears.
No, what I'm saying is that they didn't know the law. The Pharisees and brothers don't understand the law. Because if they understood the law, they wouldn't be so gun-ho to try to hold themselves up on the Sabbath day when you're out there breaking the Sabbath. That's hypocritical. You're breaking the Sabbath, but the weightier matters of the law, you're forsaking. So no, the brothers that did that about with the water, because the brother that brought the water was what Christ said do, charity. It covers everything.
Exactly.
But you want to break the law while slinging stones at somebody else. It's hypocritical. What you're not getting is that this is exactly what the Pharisees used to do.
Yeah. Now I see what you're saying.
Right. But we got to go through verses to understand. I'm asking you questions that you never asked yourself, which is, why did he do it on the Sabbath? I asked myself that. He could have did it any other day and showed them another way about the law. Why he could have, come on, you're talking about the Son of God. He could have showed them many other ways, but he ended up doing it on the day that they were going to be like, why would you do that?
Exactly.
Because they didn't understand the law. That's why he goes on. Watch, so let's read on. Go ahead.
And Yahushua answered, them said, have ye not read so much as this, what David did, when himself was an hungered, and they which were with him?
Read.
How he went into the house of the Most High.
Y'all remember this story, right? He was running from Saul. He went into the house of the Most High. Go ahead.
And did take and eat the shewbread.
Now here's this. Check this out. You get in a conversation with a brother that thinks he knows the law. He would say, well, yeah, David was on the run. He was running for his life, right? Christ wasn't running for his life with no corn.
No.
He wasn't running for his life at that time. So why did he pick the corn? We know why David did it. So Christ's example of David wasn't because he was on the run. It was to show you that use your brains. If you're needing to be fed and you're going to die and you got people with you, do you think the Most High is going to say, listen, just like the Maccabees, right?
Yeah.
Y'all go ahead and die because you're going to break the Sabbath. We got to use our head. That's the reason why Christ used the scripture. He used it on them to show them, listen, why did David do this and get away with it? Right?
Right.
Now, if your argument was with me would have been, well, yeah, David was running. Christ wasn't then. I'll come back and say that.
Yeah.
You understand? To show that Christ was showing them a point. The Pharisees didn't even know what the hell they were talking about. That's why Christ had to remind them of the Bible. You know the Torah, but you don't know the Torah. You don't know what you're talking about in the law.
Yeah.
Let's read on. Go ahead.
And gave also to them that were with him, which is not lawful to eat, but for the priests alone.
Go ahead.
And he said unto them, that the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath.
So he's showing us that this Sabbath day, first of all, Christ was making a stance. I'm the Lord of the Sabbath, number one. But he's showing us the Son of Man. This day was given for us. Not for us to sit in a closet and be like, I'm keeping the Sabbath. No, you're not. You're not keeping the Sabbath, dude.
Exactly.
So, but let's go on. Let's read on. Let's go through the scriptures, because I could talk all day. I'm gonna bring out the points to ask you, why was this?
No, and I hear your point, and you made your point very well. And you brought up the guy that sits in the closet and does nothing. And I agree. I mean, come on, man, what are you doing?
Right.
But then you have your one on the other side to say, man, the Sabbath is done away with. Christ is my Sabbath rest.
Yeah, that's the Christians.
So now you got one guy that's saying, I ain't going to move. Then you got another guy saying, I'm going to keep on moving like it's any other day.
Right.
So if I say, well, hold on, man, slow down.
So they both carnal-minded.
They both carnal-minded.
Now, where we sit in is in the middle of the spiritual. Because why? We serve the law in the spirit. We keep the law. Here, let me keep going with it. Okay. How about this? Are you justified by the law?
No.
Are you going to be saved by the law?
Absolutely not.
But do we keep the law?
Must keep the law.
That's where we sit. We keep the law, but we consciously know that I'm not going to be a hypocrite, or I'm not going to throw stones at a brother because we fall short in the law. No. Do we break the law? No.
No.
We what?
We establish.
Now you're talking. Now you're understanding where all the scriptures fit in. We establish the law. So I'm going to say it again for the ones that don't understand. When you come in this school, we're going to tell you no more homosexuality. In the law, faggots should be put to death. No more eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, oysters, caviar, crawfish. No, celebrate the high holy days. Every high holy day we celebrate. The Sabbath we celebrate. We follow the law. But we're conscious in understanding that as we're trying to rehearse the righteous acts, if we offend in the least, we break all the laws. We understand that. And if you don't understand that, and the brothers that are supposedly the judge dreads don't understand that, then they don't understand it according to what the Bible says and according to what Christ says. So am I supposed to understand it like the Old Testament mind? No. I'm supposed to understand it like Christ said. He came to clarify everything. And I'll go on, and we do this all the time, and I'm going to take you right through the steps, but it's your question, at least get the scriptures.
No, you have done more than answered the question.
No, hold on a second. Matthew 12:5. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hold on. Because you might, but the sister, you're new here, right? You're new? Right. See, I'm going to show you something. Sister, come here, right? She got a dress on?
No.
She got her hair wrapped?
No.
You know why we didn't say nothing? Because why would I scream to her about her head wrap and her dress when she just barely learning how to be pure and righteous?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was bringing up the Acts 15.
So my point is this, that you got brothers screaming at our people, sister, you don't supposed to be, you wicked. It's like, won't you tell her she's an Israelite first? We're doing things backwards instead of like Christ said. Now, do you see us out there yelling at people? Yes, but we're not going to be yelling at them in that way and try to make it seem like they were supposed to know the whole law and when they're walking down the street. That don't make any sense.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we're Hebrew Israelites, but we're spiritual. We understand the law.
That's very foolish.
You understand? That's very foolish. You understand? So, as you see the law, as she keeps coming, she'll be like, why your sister's got your hair? It's going to work in her. And then she's going to hear us in class say, this is what the law says. This is what the scriptures say. You see that? So it's a way. It's an understanding that we have to deliver and wake up our people. This can't be forced down their mouth. You understand?
Absolutely.
Okay, so read that. Matthew chapter 12
and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Or have ye not read in the law how on the Sabbath day the priests in the temple profaned the Sabbath?
Now, I want you to ask yourself this. Why did the Most High let them do that on the Sabbath? Why he didn't say, hey, you priests, it's the Sabbath day. Stop performing your priestly duties. So what is the Most High showing us? That, first of all, Christ is showing us that how we thought we understood the Sabbath day, it's not correct. So what he is doing is correcting our outlook on how the Sabbath day was performed. Right? Ergo, he's picking corn on the Sabbath, right?
Got you.
All right, go down to verse 8. Go ahead.
And are blameless.
Read.
But I say unto you, that in this place is one greater than the temple.
Right.
But if ye had known what this meant, I will have mercy and not sacrifice.
Right. What did he just quote? If you know what he had meant, I would have mercy, not sacrifice. What did he just quote?
He just quoted, I believe, Isaiah.
No, it's Psalms 51.
Psalms 51.
He said, sacrifice thou desires not, else will I give it. The sacrifices of the Most High are a broken spirit and a broken contrite heart. He constantly told the Pharisees, you may clean the outside of the cup, but inside you're full of dead bones. Yeah, you got your fringes, you got your beard. You know, because if you want to talk about the law, where's your beard at, huh?
Exactly.
I've been rocking my beard since I got one. But the reason I'm saying that, because I don't want nobody to get it misconstrued. We're standing for the law too. But we're standing for it like Christ said stand for it. Not like the savages of the Old Testament, the ones that didn't understand the Old Testament. And when I say savages, I mean that. I mean the beastly ones. David understood the law. That's why he said, you desire mercy. You desire not sacrifice, else will I give it. You don't want bulls, and you don't want that. You want a sincere man. So, but there was people that were so carnal in the law, they didn't get it. You see that? So these are the questions that I've asked myself, and that now we understand more what Paul was dealing with when we deal with the Sabbath day, and we deal with these men going out on the Sabbath, the apostles, the priests, doing work on the Sabbath.
Absolutely.
Right? Because they did it. That's why Christ had to come back and show them these things. Jump to 10 to 12. Go ahead.
10 and 12?
Or read down. Go ahead.
Ye would not have condemned the guiltless.
Yeah, you would not have condemned the guiltless. You already condemned me because you thought you were right in the law. And just as though a brother say, well, so you're saying in your captivity you can't keep the law? No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that because we keep the law. What we're saying is that we're rehearsing the righteous acts. And back to the point I brought out, your wife on her menstrual cycle, according to the law, she was supposed to be separated and not be around you, because everything she touches is unclean. Everything you touch from touching her is unclean. Then you go to work and you're making this other person unclean. Right? So you're breaking the law there. Right?
Yeah.
So what is and I'll give you the question that was posed to us. Hey, bro, is it wrong if I go sleep on the couch instead of sleeping in the bed with my wife when she's on her menstrual cycle? No, you're not wrong. If you want to sleep on the couch, fine. But if you're going about to establish your own righteousness by saying, I'm sleeping on the couch and I'm keeping the law, you're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, but wouldn't that be for the temple?
What?
Nah. The menstrual cycle?
Nah, that was
for...
Bruh, the scripture said if you touch her, if the man touches her. This was outside of the temple.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it said if you touch her, you're unclean. You're supposed to be separated. Our women were put in separate houses. Why? Because if you'll be unclean, then the men wouldn't be able to go perform what duties they had to perform, and then they would just be touching everything. It'd just be an uncleanliness.
Exactly.
Right. So my point is once again, we're worried about one law, but you're breaking another law.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not saying break the law. What I'm saying is that Stop trying to establish our own righteousness and establish your righteousness according to the Most High, to the Scriptures, and what He gave us understanding in.
Agreed.
Right. What verse you at?
Verse 8. Is he?
Jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10. And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered.
Right.
And they asked him,
right,
saying, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath day?
Stop. Why didn't He say, listen, come on, this is Christ. He obviously had the spiritual power to heal anybody any day of the week.
Absolutely.
Why did He do it on the Sabbath?
Poking at those old Pharisees.
Because they didn't understand the law. And He's asking them the point. Is it lawful? Now I ask you that point. Is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath?
Oh, absolutely it's lawful to do good.
Exactly. Because you're reading the Scriptures. We know it's lawful to do good. It's lawful for us to go out there and do our servile work to teach our people. So when I'm sweating and taking my garments and robes and we get up on the Sabbath day and teach class, they go out and go teach and pass out flyers, that's lawful because we're doing righteousness. You understand? It's lawful to do good on the Sabbath. If you need to work on the Sabbath, is it lawful to feed your children and you can't just get fired and switch job to job to job? You've been at your job 30 years, but you're just going to give it up? Was that necessary? No, it was not. Because why? I'll take it back to the statement you said. One, we are in captivity. And obviously, just like the Maccabees, what did they have to do? What did they have to do to realize either they're going to be killed off or fight? You remember the story?
Yeah, they had to profane the Sabbath.
They had to supposedly profane the Sabbath. But what they came to realize is that if we don't fight, there's no worshiping the Most High.
Exactly.
There's no keeping the standard and showing forth the greatness and majesty of the Creator. You see that? You see that?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
That they might accuse him. Verse 11. And he said unto them, what man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out?
So, your sheep was your what?
Your work.
Your money. That's your cattle. Your cattle is your work, is your money. So which one of you having a situation, and by all means, if you are at, you working at Subway and you can switch to another job and not get Fridays, fine. But that might be good for you. But the next man might be at his job 30 years and he can't just quit because he has to work. Should he feel condemned that he's working and digging his cattle off the ditch on the Sabbath day?
Man, you made a very excellent point, and you made your point very clear.
I got one more scripture though. Hold on, man. John 7:22. John 7:22. You know why? You know why I like pulling these scriptures? To remind us that it wasn't just one situation. Like, oh yeah, that's because he did it. No, he put himself in different predicaments for us to realize, okay, if you got an excuse for this, I'm going to do it over here. He went to heal. He went to pick corn, which wasn't necessary. Then he was reminding them, which one of you hypocrites are not going to help your animal out the ditch? Because that's what it was about. Israel's hypocritical as hell. They're hypocritical as hell. You know what I mean? I say Israel because we are. You know what I mean? And we got to watch it. Because thou that judgest not thyself. Know that the same judgment we're putting out, we're going to be met with. So it has to be the correct way Christ said, because if not, we're going to be condemning this person's conscience, and they're going to be like, damn, but then you're over here breaking the law? And that's not what we want to do. We don't want to condemn somebody when there's no condemnation there in him doing work on the Sabbath. Okay, John 7:22.
St. John chapter 7, verse 22. Moses therefore gave unto you circumcision.
Go ahead.
Not because it is of Moses, but of the fathers.
Go ahead.
And ye on the Sabbath day circumcise a man.
Right, but you on the Sabbath day circumcise a man. So it's the 8th day, it lands on the Sabbath. Do you circumcise your son or not, according to the law?
According to the law, you circumcised.
But you broke the Sabbath.
That's a good one.
It's good because it's here in the Bible. In Christ is good. Romans 7:14. Romans 7:14 real quick.
Romans chapter 7 verse 14.
Romans 7 verse 14.
For we know that the law is spiritual.
The law is what?
Spiritual.
The law is what?
Spiritual.
The law is what?
Spiritual.
Go ahead.
But I am carnal.
All right, let's go to the other ones just for somebody that doesn't understand. Romans 3:31 and then Romans 6 verse 15. And I know you might get it at this point, but remember, we got other people watching. And I want to give them the balance, not to, oh yeah, I can go eat pork now. No, we're not. No.
No, you're doing your thing, man.
Right. I'm trying to show them according to the Spirit that how we supposed to understand the law according to what Christ said. Go ahead.
Romans chapter 3 verse 31. Do we then make void the law through faith?
Go ahead.
God forbid.
So that's for the Christians. And do we make void the law through faith? Oh, I believe I don't need the law. God forbid.
God forbid.
Right? Romans 6. Did you finish that?
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we establish the law.
We do what?
We establish the law.
Go ahead. Where's the next one?
Romans chapter 6 and verse 15.
Go ahead.
What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law?
Read.
But under grace?
Go ahead.
God forbid.
Oh, I got grace. My Jesus gave me grace. I can eat that pork and... No, he didn't. He didn't give you the license to sin.
Nope.
Right? But when you talk about the Sabbath day, it's not a sin to do these things on the Sabbath. Why? Because that's what Christ said. And he came to show us the understanding of the law. Now go to Matthew 5:17. And this is for all the Christians that thought we were saying that you can go ahead and disobey the law. You can disobey the Sabbath. No. But I know these scriptures are here. You can't just ignore it and act like Christ wasn't doing all this stuff on the Sabbath day for some point. He wasn't doing all these things just because he was doing it to teach us something. Yeah. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 17. Think not that I have come to destroy the law.
Go ahead.
Or the prophets.
Go ahead.
I have come not to destroy, but to fulfill.
Right. So the fulfillment we know wasn't he died and resurrected. That's it. The fulfillment was as he was walking, he was showing the people what the law was really about.
Play a role.
Huh?
Play a role in the law. Teaching it.
He was teaching it. Why? He kept bumping into these guys about the Sabbath because they didn't understand. So he was constantly trying to show them, no, brother, the Sabbath day, I'm doing right on the Sabbath day. Man wasn't made for the Sabbath. We didn't go to that one, but Sabbath for man. Why? Because the day was created for us to rest. In Egypt, we had a 10-day work week. Coming out of Egypt, we wanted to work. He said, no, you're going to have a day of rest. Now, I really want to go to Hebrews to really pop your top. To show you that answering your question about the Sabbath day, he even said, right now, we're not doing the real Sabbath.
And that goes to the us being in bondage question.
There you go. That's what he said. Him said that in Hebrews. Right? Go ahead, read on.
Verse 18.
Right.
For verily I say unto you, shall heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled.
Right, so Christ was fulfilling these things. Right? So go from there. You're going to read. All right, jump down to verse 27.
Verse 27.
No, 21 I mean.
Verse 21. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time.
And you know why I have to go through it like this, Because there's some carnal Christians and carnal Israelites. And if we don't read it and understand this way what Christ said, it's going to be misconstrued. We're saying break the law, like Paul was misconstrued. I'm not saying that. The scriptures ain't saying that.
Nowhere in the scriptures.
No. let's read what Christ did, though. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 21. You have heard that it was said by them of old time.
About who of old time? The prophets, the apostles, the leaders of the past, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That thou should not kill.
That thou should not what?
Kill.
Read.
And whosoever shall kill.
So if you want to know what it meant to fulfill, Christ said, okay, I'm going to show you what the law said. Thou shalt not kill. But I'm finna give you the real understanding. The real understanding. Go ahead.
And whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment.
Go ahead.
But I say unto you.
Wait a minute. Fine, that's true. The law still stands. Thou shalt not kill. But I say unto you. Go ahead.
But I say unto you that whosoever is angry.
Whosoever is what?
Angry.
Whosoever is what?
Angry.
Angry.
You know what Christ did, brother? He said, unless your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees. The Pharisees were righteous carnally, but where the succeeding them had to go was in the spirit. So what they did was, I'm not going to kill, but I'm going to send somebody out to kill him, and I'm keeping the law.
Yeah. I mean, but even in these, the oath, the killing,
right,
the lust,
right,
everything that he said, but I say, is still found in the law.
There you go. And that's the point of why they didn't understand the law. Exactly. That they're using one part, but don't use it.
To try to justify, but yet.
But they're not using the other part to give the clarification.
Exactly.
So yeah, we keep the Sabbath, but we keep the Sabbath according to the law, like Christ showed us. You see that? And then you can go down. I mean, you've been down in Matthew 5, right?
Oh man, yeah.
There you go.
That's a debate central right there.
No, it's really not.
I ain't got to do anything anymore, and that's how. That's
no. Matthew 5 is saying contrary to that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's
saying contrary. He's saying more so as before you kill. He said when it comes into your mind and you're angry with this person. Yeah. So before you even get to the part where I'm gonna go beat up Uncle Ray, this nigga owe me $50, it was supposed to be squashed in the spirit.
Absolutely.
So that's what Christ was teaching us. This is what the Pharisees didn't get. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're talking about. What the scriptures say. I'm not talking about anything else. All right? So, did that answer that?
Man, for the last hour, you answered every bit of it.
It's a strong topic. And you got to be we have to be very clear on that topic. You know what I mean? When it comes to the law. Because we're not trying to obscure the validity of the law, but at the same time give the understanding what Christ was giving. You know what I mean? So you got to check Israelites, and then you got to check the Christians.
You gave me a whole new perspective on this particular topic. I have, since I came to the truth, haven't worked a Sabbath day since.
Right.
And man, that's a lot of money. You know, for most people, Saturday is the money day. Mm-hmm. Overtime, whatever the case may be.
Well, like us, we own a business, you know, and we can't just, we're not Chick-fil-A. You know, we got to open our business on that day, like in the mall. It ain't going to be like, you know, yeah, they're not going to do that with us.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So we're confined to that, you know.
Exactly.
So in that instance, there's a lot of instances where it has to be that way. By all means, if you can get off, though, get off. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But
see, I've heard that, but I just never heard it from your perspective.
Right.
I've heard if you can get off, get off. But I've always thought about the 3 Hebrew boys, the Maccabees. But I'm like, man, these guys put their lives on the line
for the Sabbath,
for the poor, just to make sure that they didn't. And of course, those like, man, I'm trying to get to that point.
Well, but see. But again, the way we're looking at it is not looking at it through the eyes of Christ, because you're trying to say Christ didn't put his life on the line because he picked corn?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You see my point?
See it from a totally different
right. The way we understood it was, if I'm doing it this way, but he obviously came and gave us clarity. Yeah, in the law. And then Paul came in Romans 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Light to the blind.
Right. He came and gave all kind of understanding in the law and the understanding of that. Because at one time, if you read from Romans 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down, you'd be thinking Paul saying disobey the law.
Oh, no.
But he came, that's why he came at the end of 3 and was like, hold on. You might have this construed and think I'm saying disobey the law. I'm not saying that.
God forbid.
He said, God forbid.
Yeah.
But if you read 3 and you pick verses out of there, like the Christians do,
Yeah.
it can sound like Paul saying, oh, you don't got to keep the law. But he's not saying that.
Saying the opposite.
He's saying the opposite. He's saying what Christ taught him, which was to be spiritual in the law.
Yeah.
Like, we got to move further and further because, you know, now, where were you at? If
James 2 and 10.
Go to James 2 and 10. Yeah, go there real quick. And because this is what the Pharisees, what Israelites don't understand, is that, read it. We'll just read it.
Done. James chapter 2 and verse 10.
Go ahead.
It says, for whosoever shall keep the whole law, and yet offend in one point,
Go ahead.
he is guilty of all.
Yeah, so we can't go about to establish our own righteousness when the law, if you're judging yourself according to the law, you're breaking laws. You're breaking them.
Yeah.
Daily. Just because you don't eat pork, just because you don't eat shrimp, crab, and lobster, you know, like we always say, you go to that restaurant and you what? You order up. Unless this super Hebrew Israelite wasn't eating out at all. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I'm saying that to show them, lock into the spirit, and now you're going to get closer to what Christ wants in keeping the law. You know, because those brothers should have said, wait a minute. Go there real quick. And this will be the last on the law, and then we can move to something else. Go to, it's in Matthew's, the weightier matters of the...
Yeah, we just read it.
Yeah, 23. Matthew 23.
Matthew
Where he's going off on them. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 23 and verse 23.
Go ahead.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees,
Right.
hypocrites,
Right.
for ye pay tithes of mint and anise and
Cumin.
and have omitted the weightier matters of the law.
Yeah, they omit the weightier matters of the law, which is what? Come on.
Judgment.
Right. See, judgment. You know what the judgment is? This. If you hear about something that's going on in this other school, stop jumping to conclusions because you're not there. You don't have true judgment. Don't try to bash other people's name. You're not there. Exactly. You haven't judged enough to know what side and what. You don't know. So what we do here is we shut our mouth because we are not there. And because I want to defame, or somebody wants to defame somebody else, they take that opportunity and they don't judge correctly. But they keep the Sabbath, but you talking about this brother in this other camp, which you don't know, and making it seem like you know what's going on over there, and you're not there. You're going by word of mouth or hearsay. But because you keep the Sabbath, you're supposed to be righteous? Hell no, you can't fool me. It don't work like that. This is what Christ is showing us. Go ahead.
Judgment.
Yeah, how many brothers got online and said because we were black and red, we were the Illuminati? Like, my point is this. Pharisees, if you were correct, then you wouldn't be doing these things. Not saying, and I'm going to say this now, we said, we're shining bright and perfect. What I'm saying, though, is this. That's the example. The example is Christ. Exactly. And if we're watching in other areas, and you're keeping the Sabbath, keeping the other laws, then maybe you can be justified in righteousness. But you're breaking so many things, and they're trying to act like you're right. We got to be careful. We do it. Everybody does it. But we got to be conscious. I'm conscious now to understand that, no, I got to dial it back. I got to watch. Because, you know what? When people come in here and they be like, yeah, I went to that camp over there, and I didn't like this and that. I was like, wait a minute. How many crybabies we had come through our camp and made up stuff? I'm not going to listen to this guy.
Yeah. Everything needs to be established. 2 or 3 witnesses.
There you go. But listen. listen, is that happening?
No.
Hell no, it's not happening. But it's the ones that are what? Saying, you know what? See, the Sabbath day. Like, stop it. Stop it. It don't work like that. You can't pick and choose. No. We're going to look like the Christians when we do that. If you pick and choose what law you're right by.
Yeah.
You understand? So we keep the law, but we got to keep the spirit of the law.
Absolutely.
So the way, go ahead.
Judgment, mercy.
Mercy. Mercy. You know what I mean? You hear brothers, I'll cut this brother throat. He's not a brother of mine. Like, where's the mercy? You know what I mean? What happened to pray for your enemies? Oh, that's Christians. Brother, the scripture said pray for your enemies.
I ain't Christian, that's Bible.
That's Bible. I mean, my point is this. They got to use the whole Bible.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Well, that was the enemy. That's not the enemy of the other nations, right? It's perfect. You said it. An enemy of Israel. You don't supposed to be talking down to your brother like he's an enemy. Oh, he's not my brother unless he do the work. Well, how did he become your enemy? You're playing word games. How did he become your enemy? He was a brother of the truth, right? If you want to say that. Those that do the work are my brothers, right? Well, he became your enemy. You were supposed to do what? Forgive him. Pray for him, right?
Absolutely.
But I don't hear you praying for him. I hear you cursing him out, just sending curses up on him.
Yep. No mercy.
No mercy. We got to check it. We got to check ourselves as Hebrew Israelites. Go ahead.
And faith.
And what?
And faith.
And faith. Go ahead.
These ought ye to have done.
Right. These are the things that we were doing. We supposed to be doing. But brothers are going about to establish their own righteousness. We don't supposed to be like the Pharisees. We're supposed to be like Christ.
Man. You hit it on the nail.
Hey, y'all got any other questions? You got any other ones?
Man, I would love to tear it with you, but
yeah, I know.
I gotta make my way.
Hey,
but I do got your schedule written down.
We here. We're not going nowhere.
And you know what? I think I actually got you guys on YouTube. Cause
yeah.
Like, as soon as the class started, I got a notification.
Yeah, it pings up.
Okay. Before I leave, I just wanted to real quick make sure, because I could just finish listening to you guys today.
Yeah, you can still catching us online or
answer Hebrew Israelites answering questions.
Yeah, because that's what we do. Our first hour or two, we open it up for questions, and then we go into our class.
Oh, okay.
We try to get brothers and sisters the mixture, and we got a lot of new people that just need questions answered. So that's what we do. Like, sis, did you have any questions? So, what's your question?
Oh, I'll wait until he
He
leaves.
leaves or he's done?
Oh, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, he's done with questions.
Oh, totally unrelated to him.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So how come the 12 tribes is missing Dan?
Well, Dan never became a tribe. Go to Revelations, the 7th chapter. So even when you read about us being gathered together, Dan never became a full tribe. So I know there's a sign. I see the sign on the internet, including Dan, but they didn't get that from the Bible, because when you go to Revelations, it tells us, if you want to put it in the sign form, it gives us that sign. Revelation 7, and let's read down.
You said Revelation chapter 7?
Yeah, 3.
Revelation chapter 7, verse 1.
All right, brother. 3.
All right. Oh, verse 3.
Yeah.
Revelation chapter 7 and verse 3.
Uh-huh.
Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the...
Just read from 1 on down real quick.
Revelation chapter 7 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth.
Read.
That the wind should not blow on the earth.
Right, so these angels were holding back the destruction, we're going to find out. Go ahead.
Nor the sea.
Right.
Nor any tree.
Right.
And I saw another angel ascending from the east.
Right.
Having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their forehead.
Right, so this seal, right, was the wisdom, knowledge, the word, okay? So the destruction wasn't going to fully come until the 100. We're going to find out the 144,000 were sealed. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed.
Right.
And there were sealed 144,000.
There were sealed 144,000. Go ahead.
Of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
Right. Read.
Verse 5. Of the tribe of Judah.
Right. Let me read it. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Asher was sealed 12,000. Naphtali sealed 12,000. Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Simeon were sealed 12,000. Levi sealed 12,000. Then we got Issachar, Zebulun, all the way to Joseph. And we can show you where they fit in at. Joseph, Ephraim, and Manasseh. Manasseh took Joseph. Or Ephraim. It would actually would be left out in here. Ephraim took Joseph's line. And it says of the tribe of Benjamin. So as you're reading, the 12,000 out of every tribe, there's no tribe of Dan. Why? Because they fully never became a full tribe. You know, even, reading all the prophecies, Dan is rarely, after the book of Judges, they're rarely mentioned. So they didn't fully develop. Is there a lot of information? I can only tell you what's there and what's not there. And they're not there. You see, in the promise of bringing us back. You see that? Okay. So, anything else?
I will, but.
All right. Yeah. All right. Anybody got anything online?
Fine.
What we got?
I have a question about the second set of rules. I've been hearing about dedicated to the light work, the light worker. That's one of his questions.
The light worker. What's his question?
I mean, that was his.
Oh, that was a question?
Yeah, but he has like 3 other ones.
Okay, say that one more time. Maybe we're misunderstanding this.
I have a question about the second set of rules. I've been hearing about dedicated to the light worker.
I have no idea what that means. Is there a scripture you dedicated to the light worker? The only light worker we know is Christ. But reword that we're not understanding what that means. What else?
What is the true name of the Messiah? I know it's important to know it, right?
Yeah. The true name of Christ is Yahushua. Now, remember this. Christ had many names. He had many names, right?
God.
We call him Lord, right? Which is giving reverence. He was known as the King of the Kings, Lord of Lords. Like, we can go through a list of the names that Christ was called. He was known as Jesus Christ, or the anointed Savior, right, in Hebrew, right? But he has many names, right? Go to Revelations 19. Just to show you that we know him right now, and mind you, we're talking in English. We know his Hebrew name, but you don't speak Hebrew. We know him as Yahushua, which means he who saves, okay? So you know him as Jesus Christ. It's the same thing, but in English and Hebrew, okay? So Revelations 19, and you're going to read Revelations 19. You can read 12.
Got it. Revelation chapter 19 and verse 12.
Read 11.
Verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful.
So he was called what?
Faithful.
See, so when you try to define the Creator off of one name, you know, even somebody made a poster of all the names Christ was called. The cornerstone, right? The
Lamb of God.
The Lamb of God.
The Word.
Right, the Word.
Son of Man.
Son of Man, right? All these names, are characteristics and things that Christ was going to fulfill. So we know him as the Mashiach, which is the anointed Savior. Yahweh Shai means he who saves. We know him as the Son of the Most High, right? Because that's who he was in essence, right? He was a son, right? But the titles that were put on him, he has many titles. Almighty, right? But we know him as Jesus Christ. In Hebrew, Yahweh Shai. Okay? And remember, we say, I know a lot of people were like, hey, with no J. What you talking about? But Willis, there was no, we know there was no J. We're saying it because if we spoke Hebrew the whole time in class, you would not be on here. You speak English, we speak English, so we're trying to relate to you. We know him as Yahweh Shai. We know the Most High as Yahweh. Okay? So go ahead.
Faithful and true. And in righteousness, he doeth judge and make war.
Right. So we know him as faithful and true in righteousness. This is a future prophecy. Okay. This is when Christ comes back. John the Revelator said he's seen the heavens open up. Christ came out on a white horse. And when I say Christ, meaning that these are other names, he said he was faithful and true because he was going to fulfill that. Through faithfulness, through doing what he said was going to be done, and true. Go ahead.
Verse 12. His eyes were as the flame of fire.
Right.
And on his head were many crowns.
Because he was also known as the King of Kings, right? The Lord of Lords.
God.
Right? In verse 16. Go ahead.
Continuing.
Read.
And he had a name written that no man knew.
Right.
But he himself.
You see that? So if you want to get technical, all these titles is what we call him. If you said the Son of God, I know who you're talking about. Right? You say the Son of the Most High, I know who you're talking about. You say Jesus Christ in English, we know who you're talking about. You're talking about the Son of God. You say Yahweh Shai. You know, even if you say Jehovah, right? That's bad Hebrew. We don't know him as that name, but I understand what you're saying. You know, I'm not just going to be like, who? Who's that? I'm going to know. You're talking about the Christ. Okay, yeah.
Also, advocate, author and finisher of our faith.
Right.
Author of eternal salvation.
Right.
Captain of salvation.
Yeah, all that. There's many names that Christ has been characterized as in the Bible because he fulfilled these names.
God.
So, you know, but he's also going to come back and there was a name written on him that no man knew. Okay? He might, whatever name he wants, we going to call him that. But we know him as our Lord and Savior, right?
God.
The Son of the Most High. Okay? Yeah, you were saying, sis, go ahead.
So when you're reading Revelations, how do you know which stuff is like figurative and what's like for instance, it's saying he'll be on a white horse. Like, is he really gonna be on a horse, or is that like saying something?
Right.
You know, certain parts mean.
Yeah, some are Well, the Bible speaks in prophetically, historically, and then it speaks what you're saying, which is symbolically. Yeah, the symbolism of it. But when you start from this chapter, in the context of what you're reading about Christ coming back. Now, there's no necessary symbolism that needs to be made in this context. But then you also go to the other scriptures about when he comes back.
Right.
So, and put it all together. So how do we know that he's going to come with mighty angels and ride around on a horse? Because all the other scriptures that go right with that and say, when Christ come back, this is what he's going to come back with.
I mean, you know, like the one says something about the thing with like 4 faces or head, however many, you know what I mean? Like it's like
yeah, you're talking about Ezekiel, the first chapter. That specifically wasn't talking about the return of Christ. Ezekiel was seeing a vision, and these angels, he's seen angels. He in that vision, it wasn't about Christ. But yeah, the angels did appear to Ezekiel that way. But go to Isaiah 29 in there. 28, or is it 28 in there? Precept.
Done.
Isaiah 28
and 10.
And you're going to read verse, 28, 9.
Done. Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 9. Give me a comment, you got it?
Con means yes, sister. That's what they're saying in Hebrew. They're saying yes. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
So it's a question mark of that, because he's asking us, who is it? Who is it going to understand knowledge and the doctrine? Go ahead.
Them that are weaned from the milk.
First of all, he's telling us you got to be weaned from the basics. So just a basic understanding of the Bible, you have to understand. So like in context of even parables are used consistently through the Bible. So you're going to have to link all those all that usage of that word in a parable form up together. Like the scriptures refer men as trees. See, but you got to go through the scriptures to know that now in Genesis, when it says the trees of the garden, to understand that they weren't just men. I mean, they weren't just trees, excuse me. They were men. So the only way we can know that is because the Bible talks in parables and it speaks as men as trees. You see that? So we have to get the basics. You have to understand how the Bible talks, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to know what is separating from parables, or it's saying symbolic to prophetically, or to it already happened in the past. It's, historically. So there has to be a basic comprehension of this Bible. So us Hebrew Israelites, we study the Bible like you would study in college. We read the Bible, but we don't got no white man telling us. We now understand how the Bible is written, right? And how it has to be read. Precept here, precept there. That's the way we get this puzzle together. Go ahead.
Them that are weaned from the milk.
Right.
And draw from the breast.
And drawn from the breast. So he's even saying you have to be drawn from the basics. And the thing is, a lot of times, a lot of people that come into the truth, you are drawn from the basics, because a lot of Christianity you already heard. And most of the basics are in Christianity, which is God loves, Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, you need to follow God, right? And sometimes you stay away from sin. Those are the basics. But now you need to be weaned from that to get the real understanding. Because, okay, God loves, but did you know God hates? You see that? So, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Romans 9:13, right? Or Amos 5:15, hate the evil, love the good. Then you go to David, he said, oh Lord, I pray, I hate them that hate you. So there's hate in the Bible too. But if you don't have the basics down, you're not going to understand that the Bible speaks through the precepts. And all scripture is inspired by the word of the Most High. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 10. For precept must be upon precept. Precept upon precept. Line upon line.
Go ahead.
Line upon line. Here a little and there a little.
So you see that? That's why we jump a lot. Just like you're asking about this topic, well, pertaining to what your question was, the Bible speaks on that. It speaks on how to read the Bible. Yeah. Here a little, there a little. Right? Precept must be upon precept, but it gotta be in context of what the points are. Right. So, I mean, you get that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, any other questions on that? Or anything?
Not yet.
You'll come back? All right, sis, what were you saying the other part of this, brother? The second part of his questions?
Well, he had more than one question.
Okay, what was the next one?
What can I say to my brothers struggling with homosexuality to help them get rid of that spirit on them? I don't know where to tell them to start.
Is he saying literal brothers?
I don't know if it's little or if it's...
Are you saying your literal brothers? If that's your family members, really, brother, you gotta just show them. Like when we deal with these homosexuals in the mall, like, because we have a business in the mall and they come over to our cart, our oil business, brothers will have to tell them if it goes there, because you got to be real sensitive. You don't want to go ham on this dude talking about you a faggot, but you got to be skilled, wise to know to be able to be safe, to tell them straight out, hey, listen, why? That's off. You know what I mean? Well, they'll tell you, they'll talk to you, right? After a while, they'll tell you why they became a faggot. And they start to tell you when they was abused, or, you know, their daddy wasn't there, or something happened in their life. So you got to be able to come back and show them, but this isn't what the Most High wants. Now, there's a lot of faggots that what? Straight out deny it. Once you show them in the Bible, not even the Old Testament, you can go right to the New Testament and show them that the Most High said that was filthy. You got to just show them. But you gotta be strategic. You don't have to go in there with a sledgehammer. If it's your family members, go in there and show them and be like, hey, bro, look what I was reading. Take them to Romans. Show them that the Most High said this is filthy. Take them to 1 Corinthians 6, where the Most High said that, no effeminate shall inherit the kingdom. Take them to the definition. But it's all how you come at them, you know. Remember, like we always teach here, everything's not a street speaking. So you're not going to come at them in this street speaking mode. You're going to come at them in a more informative, non-personal way. Because remember, you want to heal them, right? A lot of you brothers, you're asking obviously because you said brother, so we're assuming these are your family. You want to heal them. So then you got to use wisdom. Christ didn't always come in turning over tables, right? When they wanted to stone the one accused of adultery, right? What did he do? Did he go back in the crowd and get whips and start smacking everybody the hell up? Or we're like, you are putting cases on all you niggas. Shoe program. Right? He didn't know, really, before he even said that. He went down and drew in the sand. Right? Before he even said anything, he was like, wow. Man, Mary. It's like these cats don't get it. You know, so remember that we always teach that remember the different methods that Christ used. Everything ain't street speaking, so you can't come in and kick it. You faggots gonna be put to death, the Most High. Nah, come in, be wise, show them through the scriptures that is off, and how you deliver it, they might actually pay attention to you. I'm not saying that's the case. Every homosexual that I told, it was like, so what? I'm gonna just. That's you between you and the Most High. The Most High gonna destroy you then. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I was gonna say, if you're dealing with a family member, you're dealing with a brother, so you're dealing with somebody that you care about, right? Apart from like when you're dealing with somebody that you just meet in the mall,
right?
It's like you just tell them. But if you're dealing with a family member like your brother, and that person's close to you, what you gotta do is like, you gotta realize that the Most High is not the author of confusion. Mm-hmm. The devil's the author of confusion, and a lot of times, people that are homosexuals, they're confused. So there's this confusion that is in them somewhere that developed at some point in their life. So you gotta prick the mind. Like the scripture says, you prick the eye and it brings forth tears. So you gotta prick the mind. You gotta sit down and talk to them, have patience, talk to them and see. You can just talk to them and see like what happened during your life. You don't even have to make it about homosexuality. You just have to, you gotta talk to them and see like what happened. Like did something traumatic happen? Mm-hmm. How were you raised? What did you grow up watching? What did you grow up listening to? How did you grow up? You know what I mean? So there's something, it's like a virus on a computer. You have a virus in a computer, you don't just throw your computer away. You gotta go in there, you gotta figure out, right? Okay, where did the virus come in at?
Yeah.
How can I get rid of this virus?
You're a spiritual doctor, man.
God.
You know, you said it perfectly. Prick the mind. You know, and you don't really have to open up the scriptures. You just use wisdom, and you can get into that man's mind, because the whole point is to try to win them and gain them.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, that's right on point. Go to Proverbs 11 and 30.
Proverbs chapter 11, verse 30. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life.
Right. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life. Go ahead.
And he that winneth souls is wise.
So he that winneth souls is wise. And it's hard with us. Why? Because once we open up our mouth as Hebrew Israelites, it's like that word come out, and it just come out and just smash. But like he said, like the scripture say, be wise as serpents. You know, harmless as doves. If he's your brother, you know, you gotta get with him and try to, you know, what's going on with you, what happened, you know, and then be able to get in their brain, like the brother said. That's right on point. So you got to figure out, man, brothers got to get skilled with the word to be able to do that also, right? Even in here, man, no matter how long I've been in, it be certain brothers and sisters got problems that come in off the street, that it's like it takes time to get through that thickness in that brain, if they're here. Remember, this is people that stick around. If they get up and leave, we can't do nothing about it anyway, right? So, yeah, hopefully that helps. What's that?
And he had some, I think it's him. He had something else to add. He said, how? Because I don't know what they are going through spiritually.
What he said, how what?
Like basically, how do you help them if you don't know what they're going through spiritually?
Well, that's the whole point. Wait, go to that scripture you quoted. Yeah, real quick, because that's the whole point. You don't know. So 22 and Ecclesiasticus 22 and 19.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 22 and 19.
Ecclesiastes 22 verse 19. Go ahead.
He that pricketh the eye will make tears to fall, and he that pricketh the heart maketh it to show her knowledge.
So, what we're bad at and what we got to get better at is becoming all things to all men, to win them. So, when you get many different Israelites come in, right? You get the thug, gangster, killer, disciple, right? The ex-drug dealer. Then you might get the homebody. We don't deal with the drug dealer like we deal with the homebody. The drug dealer might need a different approach. More hard, more focused in, right? The homebody, you can't deal with him like the drug dealer, because if you get loud, he wasn't raised by his daddy. He was raised by his mama. So he might be more intimidated by a loud voice. So, you know, as opposed to the drug dealer, be like, man, bro, put your pants up, huh? The other guy might be like, hey, bro, listen, man, when you come in here, you gotta put your pants up. You know what I mean? Why? Because you become all things to all men. One thing doesn't apply to everybody, as in how we approach the situation. Now, let's get the scripture, because brothers, it is in the Bible. Brothers act like it ain't in the Bible. So to prick the mind, to be good at pricking the mind, you have to know the individual. You have to get to know them. Now, we're speaking only from the standpoint of, you said this was your brother, right? He said, my brothers. Your brothers. Now, in the street, it's gonna be in a different way, because you might not never see them again. You might come up to them and say, be like, bro, you know, according to the scriptures, man, that's wrong, right? It's a different way. You got to go straight for the point. But when it's your family, you might try to figure their thoughts out, what they're talking about, why they, like the brother said, he gave you the perfect advice. Why they dabbed into that, why they are trying to hang around that or be in that or become that. So pricking the mind literally means what? Poking here, poking there, until you get what? Right? You get the and then they start to what? Tell you and spew out what is on their mind. And Our people are like that. You got to talk to them 45 minutes. I'm just saying, you know what it is? I wasn't going to say it in the beginning. It's like, damn, it took me an hour to get here. If that's how our people are. But sister, why are you angry? Nothing. What's wrong with you, sis? You good?
When there's obviously something.
Right. What's up with you, sis? Nothing. I was just crying my eyes out in the car, but I'm good now. What's up with you? Nothing. No, but you look like, well, the thing is, right? That's how it is. It's work. All right, where are we at? No, the Corinthians.
1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse, I'm going to start at verse 19.
1 Corinthians 9 and 19, go ahead.
I'm going to read all the way until 22.
Uh-huh.
Done. 1 Corinthians 9 and 19.
Go ahead.
For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all.
Right. See, you see what Paul's talking about?
God.
Though we're free from all men, yet we make ourselves servants to them. Because we are. Brothers, this ain't about you just go yell at them on the street and it's done. You yell at them on the street, tell them they're Hebrew Israelites, then they what? They come to class. Then when they come to class, it ain't over. They come to class and now all that filth and dirt got to be put off of them. All the problems, all the issues, all the anger, all the resentment, all I don't want to do that, I don't feel I have to do that. You got to go through all this muck and mire to get to them. So you got to do what? You got to come down to their level and remember where you came in. You know, because there's no Hebrew Israelite that just came in white robes and shining and righteous. You know what I mean? Some brothers come in, they smoke on the side still. We have to tell them, bro, you smoking cigarettes? No, I'm not smoking. Like, dude, we smell you. You know what I mean? Some come in, you know what I mean? I had a choker out, Lock. I had a choker. Like, brother, you can't be choking, beating your woman up. Right? Same thing for the woman. Me and him got in a fight. We had to go at it. Like, you go through all these things, situations and issues. But what is he saying here? Read it again.
For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all.
So we're servants now. Go ahead.
That I might gain the more.
So how am I going to gain this brother or sister? And I'm not saying we're perfect at it, but I know the method. I know that it takes work. What brothers and sisters? Go ahead.
Verse 20. And unto the Jews I became a Jew.
Go ahead.
That I might gain the Jews.
Right. What? Go ahead.
God. And to them that are under the law, as
under the law,
that I might gain the law, that I might gain them that are under the law.
Okay, read right now. Go ahead.
God. Verse
Go ahead.
21. And to them that are without the law, as without the law, being not without the law of the Most High, but under the law of Christ, but under the law to Christ.
Right. Read with some strength,
God.
So the scriptures is showing us that we got to come down to their level. To the Jew, I'm a Jew. To the thug, I'm a thug. Right? To the effeminate, I'm not going to say to the sodomite, I became a sodomite. I ain't going to say it, Jesus. No, but y'all get the point, right? You got it. You're going to come down to his level and be able to approach him. Talk to him. Prick the mind. Right? Counsel with them.
Yeah.
Right? You got something?
Yeah, I was going to say, because, I mean, the whole point while we were given the knowledge, the whole point while we were taught was to help our people. We're there to feed our sheep, to win souls. So cutting your brother off because of that wouldn't make any sense. If anything.
Let me say this. Until he cuts himself off. Because once he denies the scriptures, you can't do nothing. You see? So the scriptures is going to make that division as you get more and more. Because listen, semantics all aside, when you get down to the grit of the word, it's going to reveal what they want. Because yes, we do all that and we sympathize and we try to deal with them and win their spirit and all that, and the nigga in them just don't want to submit. So you can't do nothing about that. The rebellious stubbornness in them don't want to submit. It might have to take them going out there in the world and the Most High punishing them and them coming back to say, you know what? I remember what you told me 5 years back. How many Israelites came in like that? I know many brothers and sisters that came in off of that line. Like, man, I heard y'all out there 5 years ago, man. I was selling drugs on the corner. Man, and they heard from the most random person that they was a Jew, right? And then it clicked 5 years later. It happens like that. So understand that you do your work, try to get them, win their mind, and let the Most High, one planteth, one water, the Most High gives the increase. Remember that. All right? What else is?
Sam Paula said, are we living in the time of grace or mercy?
It's both. Grace is mercy. Grace is mercy. Look up the definition. We're living in the time of grace and mercy. Because when you did that sin, guess what happened? Lightning didn't come out the sky. When you committed adultery, they didn't pull you outside and stone you. Okay? So, as I can see y'all flipping for that dictionary right now, I can see y'all moving like at the swiftness of flash. You know what I mean?
Oh, grace.
On that. What you got? Grace?
Yes.
What is that?
It says elegance or beauty of form.
No. That's being like graceful. She gracefully went across the floor. That's not that. Get the right definition.
It says mercy.
Right. There you go. There you go. Grace. When you look up the definition, grace is mercy. So yes, we are in the time of mercy and grace because the Most High, right now, go to Acts 17 and 30. Go to Acts 17 and 30.
Acts chapter 17, verse 30.
Uh-huh.
In the time of this ignorance, the Most High winked at.
At the time of what ignorance? All of our ignorances. You know, whether it's Paul, what Paul's talking about here, whether it's is that Paul or Peter? Gotta check
Paul.
that. It's Paul, right? Where he's talking about here worshiping idols, whether it's the adultery, whether it's the fornication, whether it's you a gunslinger, where you shoot people, whether it don't matter. The Most High said He gave us the graceful time is that everybody's that's wicked. You're out there hearing the word to come to get the truth. That's mercy. Because you didn't die in being a murderer. You didn't die in being a drug dealer. Which we are. I know a lot of you Hebrew Israelites forget that. Israel, they try to act like you weren't doing something wicked out there. You were wicked as hell too. And the Most High called you from that. And He said He did what?
He winked. And the times of this ignorance, the Most High winked at.
Go ahead.
But now commanded all men everywhere to repent.
Commanded all men everywhere to repent. Yeah.
Did you want the one in Wisdom of Solomon as well?
Yep. What I want is brothers to read correctly.
God.
Okay. Go ahead.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11 and verse 23.
Wisdom of Solomon. Oh, Wisdom of Solomon. Yeah, it's in your Apocrypha, sis. Wisdom of Solomon 11 and 23.
Page 64.
Go ahead.
God, but thou hast mercy upon all.
Uh-huh.
For thou canst do all things.
Right.
And winkest at the sins of men.
Right. So He winks at the sins of men. So right now, yes, is you have mercy and grace. But remember, that door will close. As we get closer and closer to Christ coming back, there ain't going to be that time of grace. So know that door is closing. I don't know when it's going to close. All we can do is look at the signs and know that as it gets closer to Christ coming back, you're going to see grace in the time for mess up and doing wickedness. Like, I'll tell you like this. 10 years back, we give a brother a warning and be like, that's off, that's wicked. The Most High don't want you doing that. He might leave the truth and be fine. Go out there and commit wickedness for years. But now, I've seen brothers, sisters, play around, mock, speak against the word, play like this is a joke, they go out and get checked right away. I'm talking about within a few months. It don't be years going by. It be a month later, you know. We had a sister come in, they thought it was a joke, they thought it was a game to be these ratchet ass women. Now you see her online, face painted, like she's sad. It's just sad. You can see them online on Facebook crying, but they're in their mire, and that's what they like. They like that better. They like to be in their mire more than to be rebuked and chastised with the word. So, but once again, 10 years to now, you can see how the Most High is not playing with a lot of Israelites. You know, he's dealing with us. Okay, so what else we got? Y'all got some good, these are good questions though, man. Some of them are different. Yes, sis.
You know how they, for the 12 tribes, they have like, they tell you like which tribe, like who knows that? Like, how come Asians and other ethnicities aren't part of the tribe?
Well, okay, so all these tribes, the way we know is through the prophecies of the scriptures and historically. So once again, the one night, and what did I tell you? I was telling my rib, I got all my books in my car, and I loaned my car out. But when you go historically and you match it with the Bible, it fits these people right here. So Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, let's deal with them. Go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. And, you know, one of the biggest things is how do we know all of us are Israel? Is Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Why? Because if you were going to put up a list of how we know that the people over there in Israel is not the real Israelites, it would be easy if you went through Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and went through the checklist and said, okay, well, let's see if they went through these things. So, when you go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 15, read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15.
Go ahead.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So, when you read Deuteronomy 28 and 1, on down to verse 15, Moses is telling the children of Israel. Remember, this Bible was written for who?
Israel.
Sis, who was this Bible written for? Israel. I mean, you've seen that fake movie with those fake Israelites, the 10 Commandments, right? Okay. Was the whole world with Moses? No. So when Moses was giving these laws, he gave them to the children of Israel. The thing is that movies don't portray them as the real people, which is us. So he was telling us in Deuteronomy 28 and 1, down to verse 15, if we did listen, we would be set up above all nations on the face of the earth. Okay? So, we know we're not them. Watch. Go to Deuteronomy 28 and 1 and then we'll jump back down. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt not hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day,
go ahead,
that the Lord thy God will set thee on high.
So if we did listen, he would set us on high. Go ahead.
Above all nations of the earth.
Right. Above all nations. Go ahead.
Verse 2.
Uh-huh.
And all these blessings shall come upon thee.
Right. Go ahead.
And overtake thee.
Read.
If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Uh-huh.
Verse 3. Blessed shalt thou be in the city.
Right. So we know that the so-called Negroes ain't the blessed people. We've been, first of all, from the 1600s, further back, when you go down to all the other tribes, the 1500s, to the white man coming over here in America, right? To the so-called Negroes going in captivity in 1620, right? That we've been the cursed people. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about these great things because these things are only going to happen when we get back in the kingdom. We're going to be set on high above all people when we get back to being Israelites in the spirit. Because you were born Israelite. But now we got to start acting like the chosen. We got to start acting like the Lord's people. You were born a Hebrew. You see that? So jump down to verse 15. Let's get verse 16 now.
Verse 16.
Go ahead.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So how do we know? Let's go back to your question. How do we know that these people, the so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, are the true Jews according to the Bible? Well, one, how did the Jews look according to the Bible?
Why don't you tell me?
There you go. That's what I was waiting for. Go to Acts 13:1. Come on, y'all should be getting color scriptures. Y'all should be, this should be easy for you Hebrews right here.
Acts chapter 13 and verse 1.
So how did the apostles look? And what are the things that they're not showing us in religions? Right? So Acts 13:1. Go ahead.
Acts chapter 13 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
Now there were in the church that was in Antioch.
That was at Antioch. Go ahead.
Antioch.
Right.
Certain prophets and teachers.
Certain what?
Prophets and teachers.
Go ahead.
As Barnabas.
Right.
And Simon.
Right.
That was called Niger.
Right. So Niger is a Latin word that means black. So when they got the 12 apostle sign, you see any niggas in there?
Yeah, but there are other scriptures that say, like, they'll say, I'm just being totally dramatic right now, but they'll say John also called blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you know, like, for instance, how would you know in this particular passage?
Because that's just a start. This is just a little taste of we're being called black. Niger means black. That's all it means, dark. So what I'm showing you is that according to the pictures that's portrayed, you don't see black men in there. But according to the Bible, they're there. You see that? So the prophets, the apostles, were dark-skinned. All right, let's go further. I'm going to make it easy. Go to Songs of Solomon 1 and 5, and then go to Matthew's, the first chapter.
Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5.
Right, Songs of Solomon 1 and 5. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, read that. Read Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5.
I am black, but comely.
So Solomon, this is Songs of Solomon, so speaking of Solomon, Solomon is David's son. So you know David that killed Goliath, right? All right, so this is his son. Read it again.
I am black, but comely.
Comely means handsome or beautiful. So he's telling you, I am black, but beautiful. Jump to chapter 5 and 10. 5 and 11.
Songs of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 11. Chapter 5, verse 11.
Read.
His head is as the most fine gold.
So Solomon had a golden crown on top of his head. It says, read it from the top.
His head is as the most fine gold.
Because he was king. So remember, after David passed, Solomon became the king over Israel. Read.
His locks are bushy and black as a raven.
So Solomon had bushy locks. Who has bushy hair? Judah. We're the one with the woolly hair, the woolly kinky afro. That's us. So if you can paint the picture of him, if you paint the picture of Solomon, it's showing you how he's telling you I'm a black man with a golden crown with bushy hair. Jump to, you know where I'm going.
Job 33?
Solomon 1 and 10. There you go.
Chapter 1, verse 10. Thy cheeks are comely with rows of jewels.
Read.
Thy neck with chains of gold.
So now if you paint the picture of Solomon, he's a black king with a golden crown with bushy hair with gold chains on. So who dresses like that? Whose characteristics is that? Who likes, if a black man gets money and he has money to leisure money, the first thing he's gonna do, he's gonna buy some jewels and he's gonna get some chains. That's the first thing. So it's a little bit of characteristics show you.
Excuse me, what was the part that said with the woolly hair and all that stuff?
That was chapter 5, verse 11.
But listen, let me say this. Listen, it says Song of Solomon. Solomon was black, right?
God.
I mean, you got that. Well, that's straight to the point, right, sis? Solomon said he was black. Who was Solomon's father?
Yeah.
So what was he?
Could have been anything.
No, he was black. Right. He was black. So who was David's father? Who, Ak?
Jesse.
Yes.
God.
Then say it.
God.
Jesse. Right? Why you waiting for everybody else that ain't gonna say it?
God.
Jesse was black. All the way back, all the way through the line. So go to Matthew 1 real quick.
Can I say something on Absalom?
Yeah.
So, and David had another son named Absalom. And Absalom died in war because his hair got stuck in a tree branch.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look, like it was saying that Solomon had bushy hair. So his brother Absalom, he had bushy hair as well. And while he was riding on his horse through the forest during the war, his hair got stuck in a tree branch. He had a huge fro. And I think how nappy your hair had to be for when you got stuck in a tree branch, you hung from that tree branch. Your whole hair is holding you up.
Right.
So wanted to point that out too.
Yeah, read that. Matthew 1 in verse one in I want to jump to, is it 6? Yeah, 1 is 6.
Matthew chapter 1 and verse 6.
Right.
And Jesse begot David, the king.
Wait, so Jesse begat David. Who was Jesse's father? Jump up to verse 5.
Verse 5.
Go ahead.
And Solomon begot Solomon begot Boaz.
Right.
Of Rebekah.
Uh-huh.
And Boaz begot Obed.
So what color was Boaz? Black. So who was Boaz's father? You go all the way back up. You go all the way down. These were black men. These were black men, this whole line. So let me show you. And when we say black men, Negro, could they have been light-skinned Negroes? Yes, but Negroes. You understand? So go from there. Go to Revelation 7:14. Hebrews 7:14. Let's talk about Christ. Give me Paul. See what color Paul was. Go to Hebrews 7:14.
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 14.
Uh-huh.
For it is evident that our Lord spring out of Judah.
So Christ came out of the tribe of what?
Judah.
He came out of the tribe of Judah. So Christ was a Jew. All right? So what color were the Jews?
Black.
What color was David? What color was Solomon?
Black.
What line did Christ come from?
Judah.
Oh, which verse was that again?
7-14 says.
Revelation?
No, Hebrews 7-14. Now we're going to go to Revelations 1 and 13. Talk about Christ. We're going to read about Christ. Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 1 verse 13.
Mm-hmm. And all we're doing is this. Showing you that what the lies we were taught, that the people of the Bible were Caucasian, is not true. Okay? Actually, in Mesopotamia, before Esau, everybody was black. Everybody was dark-skinned. Let me ask you this. What white person on this earth can have a black baby?
A white woman that has a black husband?
You know, okay. What white couple, let me start it again, sorry. What white man and a white woman can have a black baby?
They
Can't. Genetically, you probably can now if they take it, but otherwise they can't. So, now that you understand that, I'm saying that because Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? Ham was what color? The white man will tell you he was black. He was black. There ain't no white man having no black ass baby. Now, the Ham was the father of who?
Of the dark nations.
Of the Africans. Of the Africans. And we'll go there. I'm just showing you that Noah was black. All the way back to Adam coming from the earth was black. Everybody was dark-skinned until Esau. When Esau came, then you had white people coming.
But where's it saying he was white, though? Like,
You're right. Thanks for correcting me. He's not. He's blood red because his blood shows forth through his skin. And when you smack his neck, he's called a redneck because his blood, he has no pigment. So you're right. Thank you for correcting me. He's red, like the Bible says. I should have said so-called white man.
Right. I mean, I hear that often
right.
from like red and like red hair and furry or hairy or whatever.
Yeah. He's red because his blood shows forth through his skin. That's who he is. He's actually the red man, not the Native Americans.
Right.
Yeah. So read that. Where you at?
Revelation chapter 1, verse 13.
Go ahead.
And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man.
Go ahead.
Clothed with a garment down to the foot.
So the Son of Man talking about Jesus Christ. We know that. Go ahead.
And girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
Christ had a golden girdle on. Sometimes you'll see us in here with a girdle. We have leather girdles. We don't got the money for all gold. But Christ in his majesty, when John the Revelator was seeing him, he had that royal on, that royal color on, gold, right? He had the royal robes on. Go ahead.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
Right. Once again, going back to that bushy, Christ had woolly textured hair. Okay? I'm not of the tribe of Judah. I'm of the tribe of Reuben. And my hair is still not like his hair. Because the tribe of Judah, Benjamin and Levi, they got that woolly textured hair. I'm an off-brand of that. Go ahead.
As white as snow.
Right, as white as snow. So his head on his hairs, his head and his hairs were white and woolly. So he seen him with gray hairs. Go ahead.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Right, because this was a characteristic of the tribe of Judah. And it was Christ fulfilling the prophecy. His eyes were red. When you go to Genesis 49, we can go there too, but read on.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
Right, so brass is already a derivative of brown. You're a brass, I'm a brass. Right? That's already dark. Go ahead.
As if they burned in a furnace.
But Christ his feet looked like they were burned in a furnace. So if you look at your feet, your arms, your legs, your hands, your face is still what color? The color of your feet is no different from your face, right? Well, mine, I'm kind of more pale, but y'all get the point that he was dark. Christ was a dark-skinned man, just like Solomon, just like David, right? Just like Moses, just like Noah. Watch. Now go from there. Go to where we at?
Go to Jeremiah.
Let's go to Paul. Check this out.
Acts chapter 21 and verse 37.
Right. Give me the definition of ham. All right. No, you read there.
Time.
Please, sir.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Acts chapter 21 and verse 37.
Go ahead.
And as Paul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, May I speak unto thee? Who said, Canst thou speak Greek?
Right. So Paul, remember, he had dual citizenship.
Yeah.
Okay. For one, we know that Paul was a Hebrew. You understand that, right? He was a Hebrew of the tribe of Benjamin. Okay. But he grew up knowing Greek. He grew up persecuting the church.
Yeah.
You understand? So he had this dual citizenship. You know how brothers right now are trying to be sovereigns? You don't have to do that. Use both of your citizenship. Go ahead.
Verse 38.
Uh-huh.
Art not thou that Egyptian?
So he looked at this man and said to him, wait a minute, you can speak Greek? Are you not that Egyptian? Now, how do the Egyptians look? Are they white people? So what color did Paul have to say? Paul was black. Paul was black. You understand? Do we got any Russian icons here? Go ahead.
It's back there.
Go ahead and read that. Where you at? Ham.
Ham, the youngest son of Noah.
Right, so Ham, the youngest son of Noah.
Born probably about 96 years before the flood.
So Ham was the son of Noah. 96 years before the flood. Go ahead.
And one of 8 persons to live through the flood.
Go ahead.
He became the progenitor of the dark races.
Right. What man has black baby? What white man and white woman has black babies? If this man was the forefather of the dark races, then how could he come from a white man? Now the white man saw it. My point in showing you that is because they know they were black. But they're not going to put in there, oh yeah, these were all black people and we have no history, we have no identity, and we stole everything. They're not going to put that. But they put little things here to show you that the people of the Bible were black. You see that? And that's out of their book. We already read out of the Bible that they were dark-skinned. Y'all see that? Okay, go to Exodus 4, verse 6. Exodus 4, verse 6.
Come on. Exodus.
Go to Exodus 4, verse 6.
Exodus chapter 4, verse 6.
Go ahead.
And the Lord said.
Now, sis, if you ever watch the Ten Commandments, you find out that they always show the miracle with Charlton Heston. Have you seen that one? The old school Ten Commandments?
I did. I don't know his name like that.
Yeah, the white dude. Well, when he did and played Moses, they did the miracle of him throwing down his staff and it turned into a snake. Okay. But this miracle was there, but they never show this. Why? Because it would have to show them that he's black. All right? Black, black, black. Read. Go on.
Furthermore, unto him, put now thy hand into thy bosom.
So what he told him is this. This is the miracle you're going to do. You're going to go ahead and put your hand into your coat, your garment pocket. Okay? Go ahead.
And he put his hand into his bosom.
He put his hand into his bosom in his stomach area. Go ahead.
And when he took it out.
When he took it out, this was supposed to be the miracle. Now, if I did like this, what you gonna say? What you doing? You gonna be like, what you doing? If I did like this, ta-da! You be like, okay, where's the magic trick? Yeah. Where's the miracle at? So we're gonna understand the miracle with Moses. Go ahead.
Behold, his hand was leprous as snow.
It was what?
Leprous as snow.
It was what?
Leprous as snow.
His hand was white as snow. He was a white man. He took his hand out and it went to white. If I took my hand out and my hand was white as hell, you'd be like, what the? But if I was white and put my hand in my bosom and took it out, what would you say? You would say the same thing, like if I did like this. Like, where's the miracle? Right? The miracle is that Moses' hand changed leprous white as snow because he was a black man. Go ahead.
Come on, verse 7. And he said, put thy hand into thy bosom again.
Put it back in your bosom. Go ahead.
And he put his hand into his bosom again.
Right.
And plucked it out.
Right.
Of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as the other flesh.
It was turned as his other flesh. There's only... Don't listen to the white man. Yellow people, red people. There's no such thing. Dark skin, and then you got the white man. That's it. The so-called white man. You understand? So when he took his hand out, it came to his other flesh. Now, if that doesn't make sense, what was Moses known as? The son of Pharaoh, which was what? Egyptian, which was what? Black. Darkness, right. You understand? So when you go through the Bible, you find out that these men, they were dark-skinned all through. So Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was dark-skinned all the way through. So go to, what is it? Jacob shall not now be ashamed. Isaiah. Go to Isaiah. Yeah, I haven't been this.
It's Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 22.
Yeah, Isaiah 29, 22. Isaiah 29, 22.
Can I?
Yeah.
Can I get numbers?
Yeah.
before he goes there, go to Numbers chapter 12 and verse 10. Numbers 12 and verse 1. We talked about that color.
Yeah.
Right? So y'all know who Miriam was, right?
Done.
Alright, who was Miriam? Ariel.
Moses' sister.
Right. So obviously, if she was his sister, they had the same nationality, same parents. More likely, they're gonna be the same tone of skin color.
Right.
Right. Read Numbers chapter 12 and verse 1.
And Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses,
right,
because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married.
Right. So they were talking against Moses because of the woman that he married. Right. Read on.
For he had married an Ethiopian woman.
Right, so we're getting in context that it was Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses. Disgruntled employees. Right? Going against the Most High's program. So we're going to jump down to verse 10. We know that the subject matter is dealing with Miriam, Aaron, and Moses. Jump to verse 10.
Verse 10.
And
the cloud departed from off the tabernacle.
Go ahead.
And behold, Miriam became leprous.
She became what?
Leprous.
So that means if she had to become leprous, that means she wasn't already leprous. To have that leprosy, she lost her pigmentation. So it says she became leprous. That means her skin color changed. Go ahead.
White as snow.
As what?
White as snow.
Go ahead.
And Aaron looked upon Miriam. And behold, she was leprous.
Read on.
And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us.
Right. You see that? So it was a sin to not have pigmentation. Aaron was begging Moses, like, listen, plead to the Most High for us so that he don't hit us with the same skin pigmentation or lack thereof. You see that? So Miriam became white as snow because she was speaking against Moses. And that was for her to become leprous, white as snow. Go ahead, read on.
Wherein we have sinned.
Right.
Let her not be as one dead.
Let her not be as what?
As one dead.
Right, read.
Of whom the flesh is half consumed.
Yeah, because without that pigmentation, it's as if your skin, your flesh has been consumed. Read.
When he cometh out of his mother's womb.
Yeah, speaking of going into giving you a little insight into Esau. That's how he looked. The so-called white man. But y'all see that point, right? Now jump to where we at? Isaiah?
Isaiah 29 and 22.
Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 22.
And you gotta ask yourself, if it's a sin to be leprous, why would the Most High create his people? Why would he create them through sin or in sin? You see that? I mean, those two precepts show you a lot of things. But why would he create them in such a way where it's like you're just a sinner? He wouldn't. Read where you at.
Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 22.
Read.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob.
Go ahead.
Jacob shall not now be ashamed.
Because where was his shame going to come? Read.
Neither shall his face.
Hold on.
You had a question?
You had a question?
Yeah, I mean,
you want to know where we at?
No, right. I'm gonna let him read, but I have a question about what you said about.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 22.
Read.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob shall not now be ashamed.
Read.
Neither shall his face now wax pale.
Yeah. Talking about Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel. We're not going to be ashamed. We're not going to wax pale. We're going to always be people of different shades of brown. We're always going to have that pigment. We're not going to have that sin of leprosy.
What was your question?
My question is, although 12 tribes of Israel are God's people, there are still white people and people of that shade, so God created everybody.
Yeah, we're just answering your question.
How'd they get?
I'm just answering your question, who the Israelites are. I'm answering you. Remember, you asked me a question, how do we know they're these people? Well, what I'm showing you is that according to the Bible and history, that the Hebrew Israelites were dark-skinned, not what we were showed them as. So putting things in perspective, now when we read the Bible, we know who the chosen people are. Then we can go historically and find out what did they go through. But yeah, of course, God made everybody. Go to Deuteronomy 32, 8 and 9. Yeah, he made all nations. Absolutely. But let's put things in perspective, though. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy
32, verse 8 and 9.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance.
When he did what?
Divided the nations their inheritance.
See, what we have to understand is this. Yeah, he created all people of the earth. But what he did was, he gave everybody inheritance. One, go ahead.
When he separated.
No, he gathered us and integrated.
When he separated.
Kumbaya, my Lord, all whole hands across America.
He separated.
He did what?
Separated.
God did what?
Separated.
Go ahead.
The sons of Adam.
So, you know how they say, well, we all bleed the same blood. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it does, because he separated the sons of Adam. So, yeah, we all humans, but the Most High deals with nations. Go ahead.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
So what he did is, he said, okay, the children of Israel are going to be, they're going to be this great multitude. They're going to be in 12 tribes. I'm going to go ahead and let these other nations have this, but the children of Israel is going to have all this. So the Lord had favoritism. He could do that. He's the Lord. He said for you not to do it, but he has favoritism. Go ahead.
For the Lord's portion is his people.
The Lord's portion is his people. Go ahead.
Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
You see that? So out of everybody, he cut the piece of pie. He said, okay, Israel, you're my portion. Everybody else, my sons are going to deal with y'all. Okay? Go to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Because you're right. We all come from God. And he made everybody. But he chose Israel above all people. Okay? You know, that's why we got to start acting like it. Like, remember, I'm answering according to what you're asking. Okay? So this doesn't mean we're going to go out and get tiki torches and go beat the white man up. Christ is going to beat the white man up. He's got something for them. We don't have to do that. Our job is to go out and teach our people who they are. All right? Raise our people up. So.
And not just the white man, just the other nation.
Oh, yeah, there you go, the other nation.
It's not like a white power thing or a black power trip. It's we teach who we are, and we teach everybody else if they want to learn who they are, and we do what we got to do.
Right, but this is for our people. It's to wake our people up. The nations know who they are. Greek history is all through the world, right? The white man, he's the best at everything. He's Batman, Superman, Robin, he's Spider-Man, he's Wonder Woman, he's all that. We're what? The guy that helps out Batman.
No.
We're
Black Alfred?
Yeah,
we're always the butler.
We're always the ones that is the servants to him. So it's imagery, and all this imagery that they put up has now made it a black-white thing. Now, as we come out with the truth, it's almost like, well, y'all the ones against, we're against the lies. We're against that they put up lies and said that God is white, Christ is right, the angels is right, everybody's white, and if you're black, you whack, right? If you brown, step down, right? Your skin is your sin. That's what it is. So now as we empower the black man, the so-called black man, the so-called Hispanic man, now it's at some point it is a color thing. Why? Because you said that Christ was white when he's not. So now it's a color issue. But see, the manipulative, psychological BS that comes out, what it is, what? Oh, you guys are, color doesn't matter. So I'm going to put, that's like me putting, pictures of you all up in the sanctuary like you're a lesbian, right? But and all through the sanctuary. And I'm going to be like, yeah, lesbian at the bottom. And then when you come back and be like, I'm not a lesbian, you be like, and I come back and say, see, you about imagery. That's how they do us, right? They put up all the lies, and then when we talk about it, it's like, you guys are racist. No. Well, technically, racist means for your race.
For your race.
So, but the thing is that they're not seeing that we have to come out with the truth now.
Yeah, it's like black people are lazy, but then when we stand up for something, it's like, oh, y'all are racist.
There you go.
Y'all are
aggressive.
A hate group. Y'all are too aggressive. Yeah. Y'all are too militant. Y'all believe too much. It's like what you want.
Yeah. Well, what they want us is to be servants and slaves, and they don't want us to be awoken. But it's easy because here in the scriptures, it's showing you that, yes, all the nations are created from God, but the Most High said, I wanted you to be my sons. And I still wonder why, because we're terrible at it. Yeah. But the Most High chose us. We got to get it together and do his job. Yeah. All right? So read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6.
Go ahead.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
There you go. He chose you to be a special people. You're chosen elect to where he even sent his own son to die for you. Because you broke the laws. Go ahead.
Above all people.
Oh, wait. What? Wait a minute. Hold on. You're being a separatist.
Above all people.
Well, if that God or God of the Bible is that way, I don't want him. He don't want you. Right. not you, but this is what we've heard. You know what I mean? If that God of the Bible is an angry God.
Damn right.
He's a loving God too. Go ahead.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
You see that? So the Most High set us above all people. It's not personal, it's biblical. Go ahead.
Verse 7. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor chose you, because ye were more in number than any people.
Right. So he tells us it wasn't that you were great. It wasn't that you were more in number. Go ahead.
For ye were the fewest of all people.
Right, and that's what he does. The Most High chooses, he finds the smallest things, right, and makes them the greatest. The rare things are the greatest, right? And we were rare. When you go back to Mesopotamia and you go back to Abraham, and you even look at Egyptian history and how they had dynasties up before us. They did. The Hamites, they did. But guess what he still says? So what? We don't care if you got this or this going on. We still were great people. Because while you were worshiping idols and worshiping penises, we were worshiping the one true God in heaven. Go ahead.
Verse 8. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, had the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand.
So, I mean, you get that, right? Just that, I know your question overlapped in another question, but you get that part also, right? That the Most High, yeah, we all come from Adam, but the Most High chose Israel above all nations, right? So, going back, right, to showing that these people, how we know who they are. I was trying to show you, like when you go to court, what do? They pull your records, right? Yep. Then they open it up, and your picture's right there, and all your files, your tickets, and all your things are right in that file. Well, we had to pull the record and pull out how they look first. Now we're going to pull their file and show how we know these are the people. We know that, first of all, that cuts out all people that are Caucasian, Spanish Caucasian, Jewish Caucasian, English Caucasian, wherever you Caucasian, if you got Caucasian behind it, you're from the Caucasus Mountains. So these people that are calling themselves Jews, they're not the true Jews. They come from the Khazar Empire. These people are converted to Judaism, okay? And we got many historical books, many references that not only we're saying that, and not only do we know that biblically, but historically, it's been documented. So go back to Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. We only got 30 minutes left. Let's try to touch on a few of these real quick.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15.
No, go to Deuteronomy 28. 16. Go ahead.
Verse 16.
Go ahead.
Cursed shall thou be in the city,
right?
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
See, and when you go through the cities, and I'm gonna speak to you it got to be in an enlightening context because you're intelligent. We know that everybody now is feeling the wrath of curses, but these curses started from us way back. So right now, you can go to our neighborhood, and you know, the example I would use is if you go to the mall, who's running down the mall with spandex and little dresses on and their pants sagging to the floor? Now, this curse is on our people, but you would say, well, there's white people with pants sagging. There's Chinese people with pants sagging. But who was this ignorance for? Who was the drugs and gangs for? That the CIA started, is being revealed. The CIA pushed drugs and dope in our communities. And movies are coming out with it. It wasn't for everybody. So right now, because they're at the end of their kingdom, you got to look back and understand who these curses were meant for and who they were to take over. And it was our people. It was our people. Starting way back, we're gonna jump back further to the 1600s, but I'm moving it up a little bit. During the 70s, we were the ones on heroin, dope, and crack. We were the ones that were the black movement, the brown movement. Our people were trying to unite. The so-called white man was what? Killing us, all of our leaders. You understand? So these curses fall on us. Go ahead.
Verse 17.
Curse shall thou be in the city, and any city you go to, still in 2017, you can go to the UK, you a nigga in a UK accent. Yeah, you can go to Trinidad. Listen, listen. There's Indians out there dark as you, but guess what? You're a nigga. Yep. They're dark as you out there. Tell them, huh? They're black as you, but you're the nigga. What?
Well, I was gonna say there's certain places in Louisiana that won't even allow black people. If you stop, they'll kill you.
Yeah, you still have this curse that was put on our people because we disobeyed the commandments of the Most High. And yes, we try to run, we try to hide, we try to cover up, we try to adopt, we try to be like the nations, but the curse is still on us. That's why Jay-Z's song, what? Still nigga. Because why? He's realizing after all the money he got, you trying to act like OJ's trying to say you ain't black? Okay. Right? That was the point, right? Because that curse is still on us. Go ahead.
And curse shall thou be in the field.
And curse shall thou be in the field. The field represents the world. So anywhere we go in the world, you're still a nigga. Every other countries. Go ahead.
Curse shall be thy basket and thy store.
Economics. Do you have that? No. There's no black. There's, first of all, the first, Black Wall Street, gone. You thought they was gonna let that happen? No. Inventions, where these inventions have fueled generations on generations and families and households. Yeah. All the way up to 2017, they're living off of the black man's inventions. Whether it's tea bags, whether it just name something, the black man came up with it. We got a whole chart of it. But guess what? Either a white man came in and stole it from the black man and the Native Americans, right? All the deeds of the land, all the land they stole, right? And put them on reservations. So when you look at all these tribes, these curses fell on us in everywhere we go. Go ahead.
Verse 8.
I'm trying to just jump because we're pressed for time. Go ahead.
Verse 18. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land.
Yeah, the fruit of thy body. And your kids are cursed because they're the ones, guess what? Yes, the white man tries to emulate you. Yes, all nations try to emulate you. But your kids are the one online with spandex, bouncing in front of their kid and twerking with blunts, 40s and guns and shooting each other, beating each other up online. And all nations is standing there what? Laughing at you, mocking you. Why? Because you're the cursed people. Go ahead.
The increase of thy kind.
The increase of thy kind. You know, and that's talking about finances again. Like we don't have that. We don't have black economics. You don't even know how to deal with your credit score correctly. The white man makes sure that he makes sure he miseducates you, right? But he tells you what? Why when you're 40, when you're 30, oh, keep your credit good. It's too late. You should have told me when I was 15 to 16. But they're not teaching us that because this society is about oppression. It's leaked over so much that now even their people are trying to realize, their people are realizing they're niggas too, right? Now it's not only about the niggas. Remember when the niggas was niggas? Now it's like the 1% and everybody else is niggas. And they want a piece of their pie again. The white man is like, we've been cut out. Goddamn American dream. And we want it back.
First Amendment, right?
But they lost it. It's over. It's over. Trump is a beautiful indication that America is on its way down.
Oh, man.
Go ahead.
And the flocks of thy sheep.
Right.
Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in.
Right.
And cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
Yeah, Tupac. Guess what? Guess what? Where is he at? Where's his name? How does Tupac's name echo through eternity as a rapper? That's beautiful, right? That's how we want to be known as rappers. What about the great men? What about the ones written in history books and libraries are built after? I mean, if you know, that's greatness during this time, right? Where's the library, the Tupac library? You're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get that. You're gonna get, man, yeah, I remember when Pac dropped that album. You know, he was so knowledgeable. He was talking about, what was he knowledgeable about? Dear Mama? Biggie, right? Fat Joe, right? Like that's our people we're looking up to, right? Or the ones they murdered, Malcolm X. But look how you were taken out, like a curse. They wouldn't even let you take a foot. You know what I mean? He took a foot and what? Boom, 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 boom. His own people, right? Curse. Curse be when you come in and when you go out. When you come in, what does it say on your birth certificate? Afro-American. Afro's a hairstyle. America is the land you were slaves, right? That's not your identity. That's a curse. That's a byword. Go ahead.
Verse 20. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation.
And that's why our people, they act like dime bags is the only way, selling crack is the only way, because their life is vexed. Even though when they do get successful, put away the dime bags, they got to worry about what? Being pulled over and their teeth kicked in. Because no matter where you try to run in suit, you try to put on, basketball, hoop, football, guess what? These curses are going to chase us till we realize the freedom is through Christ. It's not through money, not through vehicles, not through this system. It's through the Most High. That's the only way we're going to get free. And then the ultimate freedom is when he comes and kicks some butt and gets us out of here. But it's vexed. That's why your mama had to work hard, or your daddy had to work hard, or your granny had to work hard. And they work hard to get there. And they work so damn hard, they cherish that more than life. I had to work hard to get there, right? But they don't realize you were supposed to work to the Most High. Because all of our generations, look what happened when our forefathers turned our back on the Most High. It didn't make us. Why? Because we could jump through a hoop for a white man and throw a ball. That didn't make you successful. You don't got no respect. You can still be shot down. Why? Because that was the curses. Now, let's go back. Let's dial it back a little bit. The so-called Jews in Israel, right? The Jews in Israel, they own most of the world's wealth. That guy, Harvey Weinstein? Go look at a lot of your movies. You think he's going any damn where? Chris Brown was 15 when he beat Rihanna's ass. Maybe 18. Maybe 18. And guess what? They ain't letting up out here of no 18-year-old boy. Weinstein is what? They still coming out with stuff. Talking about he's being investigated. He's a Jew. He's a so-called Jew. He has power in Hollywood. He has power in the industry. They own a lot of the world's wealth. They're not the cursed people. Just because they got burnt up, guess what? That still don't make them the cursed people. They had never have been through an inkling of what the black man, Hispanic man, or the Native American been through. Not an inkling. They little one burn up, Hitler burned their ass up, good. But guess what? We're still feeling the pain and the suffering. And that's why no matter how white you try to act, what happens? The white man's there to remind you, you're still a nigga. right? I was just looking at CNN on the way here, and Meghan Markle, she's finna marry the prince out there, and her mom is black. She's an Edomite, but her mom is black. Okay. And I was like, oh, they not gonna let that. They gonna dog her out. She's being dogged out online. Why? Just because that inkling of dark skin. That's how much hate and how much punishment the Most High is reminding us when we turn our back on Him. He's going to turn His back on us. Go ahead.
And rebuke.
Right, rebuke. Man, and sometimes we feel so rebuked. And if you don't, and like I always remind brothers and sisters, it's not just about Oprah being rich. Like, well, Oprah got it good and Will Smith. If there's 1%, then what is blacks of the 1%? 5? 5 of them? You understand? And I'm not saying they're not black millionaires or black billionaires. They are. But why now they can reach $1 billion is because the white man is on trillions. The Trumps are on generations down the road. If this kingdom will last 1,000 years, Trump's power will be 1,000 years. Your family, your household, you're trying to survive with the little house you bought. You're trying to survive by the little corner store you had a business in and survive day to day. They got the real power. Ours is rebuke and vexation and having to work and having to hustle and having to build. And then they set it up to where when you do, you are successful. You got the lawyer. You're a doctor now, but what? You owe school. And by the time you get out, you're 40 years old. You're out of debt. 40, what? Your life is halfway over, right? And if you weren't smart or you didn't come up in some way, what happens? You're still working hard, which is the majority of our people. So let's not get bougie. Don't get bougie. And because you're good and you got a little stash, let's remember all of our people are going through this. Go ahead.
And all that thou settest thy hand unto for to do.
Right. Everything we set our hand to do. We try to come together in unity, and guess what? They don't support it no way. How many blacks rappers came through in Houston and tried to help out the communities? How many times you seen them on the news? Why? Because they don't want black unity. They don't want black power. You understand? Especially, how many brothers went out to the Puerto Rico helping out with Puerto Rico? Why they ain't on the news? Why they ain't being lifted up? They got some little... I was watching CNN. They got some little girl. Her father was an executive at NBC or some. No, it was Times or somewhere. And she's going around on YouTube and being a little reporter. And what the hell? You got she's on CNN, but where's our people helping out all the communities and doing good? Because they can't put that light up there. Why? Because God is whooping your ass. So no, we don't have to go hunt and go get torches for the white man. God is doing it. He's reminding you when you go against Him, the Most High is going to deal with you. You're not going to have what you want. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to come out of these curses. But once again, if you were going to make a list and go to the so-called Jews that stole your identity, so the ones that said they're Israelis, are they going through this? Are they going through these things? You know, it's better to die. I'd rather be in Israel and be blown the hell up than having to live a life in the ghettos and the slums consistently, generation after generation, seeing your kids suffer. Because why? You can't get ahead. Which one is more suffering? Their little wars, little rock wars over there? Or are people constantly suffering after generation and generation? Now, don't just think about the black man. Let's look at what they did to the West Indians, the Haitians, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Panamanians, Cubans, North Americans, the Seminoles, the people from Argentina to Chile, Colombia to Uruguay, and the Mexicans. Come on, look how they do our Mexican brothers and sisters. They killing them on the border. Is it on the news? Hell no.
You wouldn't even know.
You don't even know how many of our people are dying on the border. Why? Because that's cursing and vexation and rebuke. The Most High said here, this is a holy ass whooping. Go ahead.
Until thou be destroyed.
Right. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject you. Right? We've been destroyed. Hosea 4:6. Read.
And until thou perish quickly. Because of the wickedness of thy doing.
There you go. So let's just jump real quick. It's 9:50. Go to verse 43.
Verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
So how many Africans and Chinese people came over to America and all of a sudden know how to get loans and got Chinatown, you got dirty African town, but where is Black Town? We got one.
MLK.
Yeah, MLK, the hood, Sharp Sound, right? It's not even black anymore. Well, yeah,
I'm talking about
it's all nations that own it, and then we go in there and what? Buy from them.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand? They get up very high, and we're the low on the totem pole. And you know why I like this generation now? Because the Most High is making it evident. If you didn't know about slavery, if you didn't know about the condition of our people, he's like reminding you every time they get stopped and pull out the car. You understand that it don't matter. You know, so our bougie brothers and sisters, they got to wake the hell up. Go ahead.
And thou shalt come down very low.
And we have, man, education-wise. We're not an educated people by no means. There's a small portion of us that are educated. Even in this society standards. I mean, America itself is one of the poorest educations.
One of the dumbest
countries, yeah. But now, if they're the dumbest country, then where does the black man, Hispanic man, Native American man stand? There's only a small portion. Why? Because we don't got the good schools and computers. We don't got the good protection.
We don't got the teachers that care.
Right. We don't got the food that helps us. You know what I mean? You know what we got? We got the beat down, here you go, nigga. Here's the chitlins. Here.
Give a chance.
Yeah. No spoon. You gonna eat that with your hands. That's what we got. From slavery all the way up to now. So I'm bringing it modern. But remember, you want to go back to roots? Remember, I'm bringing it modern. This is now. Because these curses will follow us. They followed us from slavery. It was like that and worse in slavery. But has it left? Little by little. Why? Because as we get closer to salvation, Christ, the Most High, is freeing us little by little. But we ain't free yet. Don't get your hopes up. Don't get crazy with it. Little by little. Because even the freedom you think you have, you're not free. Because freedom ain't just because you don't got changed. Freedom would be having your own land, finances, your own communities, your own education. All the stuff P. Diddy's trying to do is start schools. But guess what? He can still do that. But he's not free because why? He don't got the wisdom and knowledge to go in and really teach those children about self-empowerment, about self-wealth, and honoring themselves. And if he did, guess what? Right when they go back on TV and they go on the radio, they're going to see what they're worth. I can only be Rihanna. I can only be the superhero's buddy. You know what I mean? I can't be the superhero. I know you're thinking like, well, Black Panther, he's African. He's not even your nation. See, they will put him up before they put you up. And then now you're realizing what happened to a lot of the movie stars that had to get there. What we've been saying for how long, right? Yeah. They're thinking like, well, there is successful people. Oprah, she sold her soul, her butthole, her mouth hole, her ears to the white man. So every damn orifices to get there. Will Smith, now it's coming out. We knew way back when he did 6 degrees of separation that he had to give up some bum pie to make it there. You're not coming from Philly, you know what I mean? And then now you a wide movie star. You had to give up some shoot to be down with Death Row.
Yeah, you're a Grammy winning.
Yeah.
Damn.
Back in those days.
Yeah.
And now, did you see the bald head brother? What's his name? Terry Crews. You know, he
like he molested?
No, yeah, but how the guy walked up to him, grabbed his nuts.
Yeah.
That's nothing new. This is
Hollywood. It's new to y'all. It's new to the world. Israelites been knew that. We been knew what the hell you had to do to get up in there. You had to get turned the hell out. And if you didn't like it, you probably still act straight, but you was a faggot. They force you into it, and that's what his thing. And guess what? His roles were either shortened. They were either shortened. They might, for a little bit, try to act like, look, we're having mercy, but he's going to dissipate sooner or later.
Oh, they're going to blackball him quick.
Yeah, they're going to get him quick. Why? Because that's the curses. And guess who did it? The so-called Jews to our people. So we're the ones suffering, man. Go ahead, read.
Verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee.
Go ahead.
And shall pursue thee.
And shall what?
Pursue thee.
What?
Pursue thee.
Well, when I go run to another country in another state, they're going to what?
Pursue thee.
They're going to what?
Pursue thee.
When I got all white friends and I'm the token nigga amongst them.
And
they're going to do what?
And shall pursue
Yeah,
thee.
you're going to wake up on the back of a truck, damn chained.
Pursue.
Or not. Or how about you're just being laughed at and looked at like, hey, little token nigga. We know who you are. How about that? How about you don't be dragged apart in a park? How about you're just a token nigga? Is that good enough? Is that how we're respected? And then your kids are respected that way? Our communities are respected that way? There's a hatred that's been inbred in the so-called white man. And that's why the Most High said, because violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover you. So yeah, there is a hate, a disdain for your skin color. There is that. Go ahead.
And overtake thee.
Go ahead.
Till thou be destroyed.
Right, till you be destroyed. Go ahead.
Because thou hearkenest not.
Why?
Because thou hearkenest not.
Because when Israel get the word, when we get the knowledge, we want to what?
Hearken not.
Yeah, we don't want to listen. We don't want to change. We don't want to stop doing. Nigga, man, pork? Oh, man, I ain't never giving that up. My Jesus said it's clean. They don't want to give that up. They don't want to give up the whole homosexuality. Nigga, it's from the earth, nigga. You crazy. Nigga, Israelites, y'all niggas insane. I'm gonna be getting high till I die, right? Yep. That's how they believe. That's how they think. It's a curse. It's a curse. And then you try to wake them up. Christ is black. Brother, what you talking about? Not my Jesus. Tell a black man Christ is black. Tell a dark-skinned man Christ is black. They look at you. Now that's the tribe of Judah. But look even the other tribes. No, Cristo, no. No, Blanco. White is pure. Black, you step back. Right? What?
Yeah, it was funny when we were just passing out flyers. He was like, well, you know, it's more. I look more about at what he represents.
Yeah.
Not the color, because I was showing him the color. Right. He was like, oh, well, but I gotta go now. He didn't want to hear.
They don't understand truth matters.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can't start picking the truth for what you want to be the truth. This is part of the truth of the Bible that you don't know. And they don't care about that. You know why? Because the white man has beat in their head. Yes, the white man has beat in your head that it doesn't matter. Trust me. Trust me. Because if it was the other way around, it would be war. It would be war. The white man is not playing. It will kill your ass. Go ahead. Come on.
Because thou hearkenest down to the voice of the Lord thy God.
Our problem is we don't listen. Read.
To keep his commandments and his statutes. Read. Which he commanded thee.
Read.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
So there you go, sister. Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, is just like your stop sign. You know when to stop. Just like your goal sign. If you wanted to know who the Hebrew Israelites are, well, historically, you can go ahead and read your history if you don't know your history, sis. And if you do, you can pin your history up according to the Bible and according to these other nations and see that something just ain't right. They don't pan out to fitting these characteristics and these curses. These curses on our people, they've been on our people. Go ahead.
And for a wonder.
And for a wonder. And it is a wonder. If you wonder, if you wondered what the hell is going on with us, Why is it like this? Because that's, at one point, we were all like that. Like, why? Like, I can't. And there's some brothers and sisters still out there living like it's the 80s. Like, I just can't get ahead. And guess what? When you show them why, a lot of them are still hard-headed as hell. Nah, nigga. Read.
And upon thy seed.
And upon thy what?
Thy seed.
That your kids. All the kids you push to what? Watch Rihanna on TV? All your kids that you push and watch the rappers too, and you don't pay no attention to what the hell they're talking about? And you don't know that every Netflix series has homosexuality and sex and lesbianism and all these things in it, and they're looking at it, and your kid is up there like, and guess what? Your kids are going to end up worse than you if you let it be. If you don't enlighten them and strengthen their mind, our seed is going to be cursed. That's curses. We can't breathe without we got that's how we gotta walk. We get out the car, gotta be like, yeah, you gotta be on guard with everything. What's that on TV? Boy, don't be watching that madness over there. Right? What you listening to on the radio? Sluts, hoes, drinking, piss on them, all that. That's what the music should be. Slut, hoes, piss on them, drink, throw blicker on them. That's it. It's nothing. Garbage. Yeah. That's what we listen to. And you think like, damn, why he acting like that? You know, back in the days, you didn't think like when the white man said, you know, rap music is bad for you. But they was telling the truth. Those devils was telling the truth.
Not my rap.
Yeah, it was.
Not my rap.
Yeah, that rap was terrible. And all the ones you think was smart, like Nas, he's deep. He's not deep. That nigga don't believe in nothing.
Because he don't know if he's a Muslim or a Christian.
Yeah, he don't know what he want to be. Pick a color. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And upon thy seed forever.
And upon thy what?
Thy seed forever.
And upon your seed forever. Read.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness.
We supposed to be serving the Most High with what?
With joyfulness.
When we hear this word, it's supposed to be what?
Joyfulness.
It's supposed to be a joy. It's supposed to be a joy. When a lot of Hebrew Israelites hear this word, they want to stone us and kill us and get us out of their face. Like they did the prophets. It ain't a joy. They get angry at us. You know, even brothers and sisters in here, when they get the word, you know, they be like, why you talking about me like that? I didn't even say your name. What are you talking about, right? Because why? The Spirit cuts us. And it ain't a joy. Go ahead.
And with gladness of heart.
Read.
For the abundance of all things.
See? Because we didn't serve God for the abundance of all things. We serve gold for the abundance of all things. Their God. Right? That money. That power. Right? That's because that's what's put out there. This is how you be successful. Be a rapper, be a movie star, be a soccer player, be this, be that. Or how about just be a businessman and sell your spirit out and sell your community out. I know you're thinking, well, was it wrong to be a businessman? No. But how many of our people are set in the right place and they will look at you like, nigga, you better get it the right way? My wife's dad, this nigga came over here on a bag from Colombia. On a bag. It came through think about this. He said he loves Trump. He loves Bush. Now he's whiter than white. You know what I mean? He's Colombian. Hopefully he's an Israelite. But that's my point. My point is this. How many of our people, man, that are in that mode? You know what I mean? Y'all see that CNN special where y'all gotta watch the news. But anyway, they had 8, 9, 10 people, and they were asking one black guy. Go on YouTube. You seen that?
The Benjamite.
Yeah, the one.
The Benjamite.
You wanna take
I remember
that was your tribe.
I was so ashamed.
This nigga was on there. I love Trump.
He said, I'll trust Trump more than I trust
Christ. He said, if Christ came back now and told me that Trump did something whoop-de-whoop, he said, that gotta die. I went off, I went into Shia mode. You gotta hear your Shia talk about these cats.
You old Chris.
Yeah, you see wicked niggas in Israel. But that's the thing, that a lot of our people are going to die. Because why? They will die for this kingdom. They'll die for this country. They'll go over there and lose limbs and come back and be called nigger, but be proud to be an American. It sickens me when on Facebook Veterans Day, you got our people up there throwing up the flag, and you're just a spick or nigger to them. You don't get no respect. It's insane, but those are the curses. But we love it when Master puts us and then plays us like a puppet. But when the Most High, when we have to get in order with Christ, that's when you want to be like,
You want to examine everything?
yeah, you're like, what these cats really about?
Yeah.
Like, ain't that a trip? But if it was the white man, when the white man get on YouTube and tell you Christ is black, really? Damn, Lord, did you know that? Because there's white people on YouTube telling you you're Israelites and your Christ is black. And then that's when everybody like, yeah, I didn't know that, The white man is right again.
Must be true.
Yeah, it must be true. Like, we've been saying this since the damn 60s, 70s. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies.
Because we didn't want to listen and humble to him, so he gave you the servitude. You want a job? I'll just give you a job then. You'll get that damn job and you'll be a slave to that job. You want to be a slave to this society? I see it all the time, man. Brothers and sisters come in, and you know what? They wanted the puppet master to puppet them. He'll give you to that. He'll give you. Be successful. Right? Love that life. Yeah. And I'm going to say this again. We all are supposed to be successful. But at what cost? At what cost are you going to do it? And what are you doing with it? What is Oprah doing with those billions?
In Africa. Building a school in Africa.
Huh? What is Will Smith doing with his billions? Or millions?
Support these kids have it.
Well, Jay-Z's a billionaire now. Puffy's a billionaire now. Dre's a billionaire now. What are they doing? What are they doing and I know they're giving a Greenpeace. They're giving turkeys out on the weekends.
USC.
Yeah, I know that. I'm talking about how do they really even have the knowledge to affect our people? They don't. So, in reality, they don't know what to do. That's the curse. Go ahead.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
In what way?
In hunger.
In what?
And in thirst.
Right?
And in nakedness.
So when we want our food, water, and clothes, who we got to go to? So-called white man. You got to go to the nations. The white man even himself, we talk about it all the time, he was hoarding rainwater. You can't do that. You can't take rainwater. You can't not accept our electricity.
Yeah, because even if you use solar panels,
yeah,
you still got to pay the electric company to use your own solar panels.
Yeah, you still got to do that, right? See, the white man, the Most High made it and said, you want to be against me? You want to serve them? I'm gonna let you serve them in everything you want. You want to get married? Go to them. The same faggot that pops your little boys in the churches. Go to him and ask him to see if you're married. Now you're married. The same governors and all the crookedness they're doing, and it's all of a sudden being revealed, right? Like, not to us, but all of a sudden now they're crooked and all these things are coming out. You got to go to them to set your laws, your rules. You want your own clothes? We gotta go get them. Get it. You want your own seeds, your own plants? They make the laws and the rules of what you can plant and what you can't. Everything. That's slavery. Plants are from the earth, damn it. You should be able to plant anything you want. You see that? But we got to have rules for those. Govern them. Why? Because we want to tax them. 1 minute marijuana is legal, the next minute is illegal. Legal, illegal. Which one is it? Why? Oh, because you can tax it now. All right? And I'm not saying our people running around being weedheads is right, but I'm showing you that if it was wrong, why are you taxing it now? Right? You see that? But they want control over it because it's about power. Come on, let's finish this. I know. We keep going. Go ahead.
And in want of all things.
And everything we want. Let's go to the main point. Man, you got to read down. Go ahead.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Right.
Until he hath destroyed thee.
From slavery, he did put a physical yoke, the chains and shackles. Go ahead.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
So, where did the white man come from? From far. The Greeks, the Romans, they came from far to get us. You read about the capture of Jerusalem, Vespasian and his son Titus. They came from far. Alexander the Great knew. He knew that it was his time and that he was prophesied to overthrow Jerusalem. He knew that. Go ahead.
From the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
And it happened to be what one nation? The eagle that represented the eagle. What nation exactly? But it wasn't only America. It's also who? The Greeks and the Romans. They passed a similar. They're all the same people. The Greeks and the Romans are Caucasian. They're white people, right? No matter what name they try to hide up under, they're still Caucasian. And what? They followed all the way through slavery, all the way to Britain. And what? The white man came over here for Britain to meet us for an ass whooping, right? All our Native American brothers, all of us, and still our land. Go ahead.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Yeah, we did because we spoke the original language, Hebrew. Go ahead.
A nation of fierce continents.
A nation of what?
Fierce continents.
Now, let me bring you back to 2017. Go ahead.
Which shall not regard the person of the old.
Read.
Nor show favor to the young.
Man, grandma can be in the back seat. They would shoot the daddy in the front seat while the kid's watching. And then act like you gonna do something while you bleeding out of your stomach. You choking on your blood and they're like, sir, calm down, sir. Like, I'm dying. I can't calm down. Kid can be in the back seat. Fierce continents. Now, tell me, what other nation, go through the news. You can watch in India. The cops, they'll whoop your butt too. You can go to all these other countries. They're oppressing nations too. But who has a vendetta? Who has a vendetta for the black man? Like an outright disdain to show that I don't care. I'll shoot you, a kid, an old person, and not give a damn. Nobody can convince me this Bible ain't real. Nobody can convince me that when he says about the fierce continents, that's not talking about the Greco-Roman Empire, the so-called white man. You cannot convince me. Because why? My eyes don't deceive me. All the way up historically to now, it won't change. Go ahead, read.
Verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
And that's what he did. Go to verse 68.
Verse 68.
The last theme.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Where's the sign at?
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with what?
With ships.
Well, the first time, sister, we walked into Egypt, Jacob, the 70 souls, we walked into Egypt, okay, during the time with Joseph. He said, but this time you go into Egypt. That word Egypt, Mizraim, means, what does it mean? Go ahead, read it.
It's Exodus chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which hath brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt means bondage. So he said, I'm going to bring you into bondage, captivity, again with ships. Now, if you look at us, sister, if you look at a map, you don't have to take a ship to go from Israel to Egypt. But the Most High said, I'm going to bring you into this bondage, again with ships. Now, what people, go through your list, historical database in your brain, of what people went in captivity under another people on ships. All right? Now, you're going through and you're saying, well, there's a few people that came to different lands on ships. But there's something else, another equation you have to throw in there. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt not see it no more again.
So he said, well, I'm telling you this, your homeland, you're not going to see it no more again. Go ahead.
And there ye shall be sold.
You should be workers.
Sold.
Indentured servants.
Sold.
Get paid pennies.
Sold.
Working on the railroad.
Sold.
No, you were the niggas, the spicks, the wetbags that were sold and murdered. You weren't indentured servants from Europe that came over on ships. Because yes, there are people that came over to other countries on ships. But you weren't those people that were brought over here and what? Given a job. Your job was slavery and a mighty ass whooping from the Lord. You were brought over here and sold, go ahead.
Unto your enemies.
Unto your friends.
Unto your enemies.
Your buddies.
Your enemies.
Give that drink. To your enemies. They weren't trying to be our friends. America wasn't started off of friendship. Right? It was started because of bloodshed. You even go further than that. The Spanish Inquisition, when the Spaniards came over to the Native Americans, they didn't come over here to do like they said, to convert us. They came to convert our gold and our riches to their pocket, and by the way, murdering us. It wasn't because what they said. Go ahead.
For bondmen and bondwomen.
For slave men, bond means slave. Slave men and slave women. Go ahead.
And no man shall buy you.
And that buy, if you look it up, it means to redeem or save. Okay? So we were brought over here, and who is going to redeem us? Who is going to save us? Not a man.
Christ.
I'm not going to save you. You're not going to save me. We're not going to save each other. We give each other the word of salvation, but Christ is going to save us. We're not going to get guns and all shoot it out with the white man. The white man always got bigger guns than you. That's not going to save us. You understand? We're not going to go gay bashing. That's not going to save you. Yeah, we're not going to all run and build a community and yeah, that's not going to work. Christ is your salvation. You're not going to take the glory from him. We're not going to take the glory from him. So, no man was going to save us but Christ. Okay? So, those are the curses that only fell out on one people. Okay? So, how do we know who the Hebrew Israelites? We go to the record. Okay? Then you go to the history. And like I said, I don't got a lot of history books tonight, and you probably don't got that much time. But all through history shows forth the conditions of what happened to these people. All right? You have any question on that?
I do, but I know it's...
No, hey, they can go home if they want.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, this is speaking about slavery. You know how like a lot of black people, they say like they have a problem with Christianity or even believing in the Bible because the white man, it's the white man's religion or whatever?
Yeah, they don't read the Bible.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like, if that, why would they read the Bible to the Israelites?
Cool.
You know what I mean? Like when the slave owners were reading the Bible or
well, actually, the law was if you get caught reading the Bible, you probably get killed back in the days of slavery. And what they were using is things out of the Bible to make them submit. But that doesn't change the facts of the Bible. That is the black man's book. Yeah, but you know, like they even showed that in that movie.
Yeah. You ever see Birth of a Nation?
Yeah, Birth of a Nation. Yeah.
Yeah. What did they have him do? They had him read certain parts to the slaves about submitting to a master.
Yeah, yeah.
But see, the difference was that Nat Turner, he knew how to read all of it. So then he started reading it and putting it together and seeing that, no, I'm going to bring out other parts.
Right.
But that's what they did. All they did was, when you look at the churches back then, they had, you had your white slave owner, he would sit in church, right? And he would oversee the curriculum to make sure that these slaves were only teaching servitude. Right. So, I mean, like people say, like Christianity, the black man was given Christianity when he was made a slave. Yeah, it was true. That's what they gave us. They didn't give us the Bible. They gave us a religion.
Right. And that's one of the biggest things now. Oh, I don't deal with that Bible. No, you don't deal with religion. Reality, because man came up with religion, and when you say religion, all they did was, the reality is this. Man showed you part of the Bible and didn't show you the rest. Like he said, I'm going to show you that in slavery, they're going to show us about obey your masters. But they don't understand that those masters were righteous masters.
Right.
They were righteous, and the word master in Hebrew meant teacher. It didn't mean slave master. You see that? So, if anything, it would have said servant. It would have been, like it would have said in the Old Testament. But they use a lot of that New Testament. You know, servants obey your masters. But that was talking about teachers.
But it does talk about.
It does talk about slavery.
Right.
Yeah. We had servants. But once again, if you knew the Bible, how to deal with your servants. Right. You weren't supposed to deal with them unjust. Right. You know, and do all these things. Now, let me take you a little further. The Bible, even conquering nations, we had to deal with people in a certain way. But nations were conquered. And the fact is this. The white man did conquer us. And at his hand, we were under his power. So, but when we deal with reality, we're finding out that it wasn't the white man that gave him the power. The Most High gave him the power. And he, with that power, went ridiculously wrong. Right? There was a lot of things he wasn't supposed to do. He was supposed to put us in slavery according to this. You see that? Like when we put them in slavery, when the kingdom come back, Christ come back, we're not going to be turning them upside down and sticking bats up their butt. We're not going to be doing things they did to us. Raping little boys. We're not going to be doing that. So, you know, and on top of many other things they were doing, you know, we're not going to be doing those things. We're going to be doing what the Most High says do to them in the law. You see that? It's going to be righteous judgment.
No.
Yeah. So, anything else on that? Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. You know, you asked some good questions, though. We haven't heard that one in the beginning. You know, where did you hear about us?
In the mall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you're just new to No. So you knew you was Israelite.
Yes, I've been doing research for the past year, but I kind of like.
Oh, that's what's up.
Teetering with it, but.
Got you.
I never got to like
sit in class and learn. Okay. Well, yeah. You know, you see, we answer questions. So anytime you want to come back and ask questions, you know what I mean. You can ask. All right. All right. So was that it? Did anybody else have any questions? I know we went far online. Everybody online, like. They still there? Sure. They hung in with us?
Got 23 people.
Okay, hey. But that shows you brothers are hungry. If you're going to stay on the class for like 3 or 4 hours, you're hungry for the knowledge. So hopefully we, you know, we answered every question with y'all online. Y'all know the deal. Come back and once again, ask your questions. Next class. We went questions obviously the whole thing. He's going to come back with a great class next class. All right, so, you know, sometimes we do that. Sometimes we just go over questions because there's a lot, you know, and a lot of basics, and we call this basics that need to be gotten out, so it's all good. So if anybody has anything else, nothing else, we can salute them online, say shalom. Shalom. We'll see y'all Wednesday. Yeah, alright, man.
No, I was just saying.
Any other announcements? Anything we got to bring up? None? Alright. Well, everybody stand. I imagine we'll put you up and down, rise and face the east. And sister, what we're going to say, we're going to face the east. We face the east because the scripture says when you pray, we're supposed to pray towards Jerusalem. Okay? So that's why we face the east. But what we're going to just say is God, in the name of Jesus Christ, bless all the schools.